Okay, give me 1 sec. All right, I just want to get everything set up on YouTube because I don't stream on YouTube that often. So that one, I gotta double check that everything went live the way that I wanted it to. I made a custom thumbnail for that, and it did not go through. Nor did the description I set up for it. I might have to go in and change that later. Always got to be some kind of issue when I go live, but let me see if I can edit it while I'm live. Yeah, it didn't save anything that I set up prior. Let me see if I do this. Just straight up didn't save any of my stuff, did it? I could probably just edit it while I'm live. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. Let's see. I had everything ready to go for like a go live on YouTube, and I X'd it out, and I should have left that up. I could have just copy and pasted it, but it's fine. It doesn't take long to do. I just need to add some things because I noticed I also got to go add it to the stuff that I scheduled for the new stuff in 2024 already, that I changed the stuff for like our normal descriptions. I thought I had the merchandise link in there, but I don't. And I need to add that to the new stuff that's up because I have everything else. I have like the Spotify, I have basically everything else that we do in there minus the merch. I mean, what I could do is I could just take from the last shirt video. That would probably be the easiest. Yeah, it's got the merch, the Spotify, the shorts playlist on it, the Twitch link. Yeah, I think we can probably just take from that. And edit that. Let me do it that way. It's probably the easiest way to do it. It's fine, it gives me some stuff to do in the meantime, in between time. Can't believe this was like 2 years ago already, this Halloween shirt one. It's kind of crazy. Okay, cool. I think that's good. Got a little unique thumbnail for this. That I literally just made a second before stream. It has a piece of art that I'm not sure I am ever gonna actually get to use at this rate. I got it made thinking we were gonna be doing other stuff sooner. So yeah. Okay, I gotta add some tags. Oh, my niece is crying. Hold on. Thank you for the sub, Tim. I think my niece is okay. She's crying, but I think she's okay. Thank you for the sub, man. If the early bird catches the worm, I think I'll just sleep in until there are pancakes. And it's a lot. That's sound logic. Always good to start the stream off with Glorious. Thank you, man. Appreciate the resub. 61 months. Wild. It's wild. Okay. I gotta do one more thing. Sorry. I thought I had this stuff all set up, and then when I went live, it stopped. It didn't stop. It just reverted to different settings that I had on Streamlabs, and now I'm just trying to fix it. How was your holiday season? Holiday season was pretty good. I got a little sick, like a little stomach thing. The last like 2 days. I actually tried to stream last night, and then I just like couldn't. I was dying. But other than that, pretty good. I mean, Christmas, everybody in the house just collectively spoiled my niece, so it's pretty good. It's always good. And then, yeah, New Year's we just stay. I mean, we did everything from home, so nothing too crazy. How was yours? I need tags. She's 3. He's doing Pilates. I'm not doing Pilates. Are we doing Pilates? Should I do Pilates? Why do you think I'm doing Pilates? Is there something behind me that gives you the thought that I'm doing Pilates? Okay, I just gotta add tags to this live thing. If they even let me, I have no idea how this works because I never go live on YouTube. Want a fun little quiz? Sure. I really don't have a stream playlist. Well, we do now. Okay, I think that's everything for YouTube. I don't know. I don't stream on YouTube, so we're winging it. But I think that's everything I needed. Okay. I think we're good and we're ready to go. I just need to do this. Do this. Okay. Let's see. Not bad. Was just me and two sisters this year. We had dinner and watched movies. Sounds good to me. I'm always staying home and stuff, so. Also, I'm filming in my basement, so it's like this is what you get. This is all this stuff back here is stuff we're gonna eBay. It's just like random figures and mix of stuff that we haven't sorted out since the move. It's just a baby seat over here. There's a if I go more that way, there's a stroller. This is my gaming chair. It's a mess, but we're working on it. We're working on it. I also have this dry spot on my nose. Can't really do anything about it. I could have put like cream or something on it, but which phantom town in England was found on maps but nowhere to be seen on the ground? No idea. I've never even heard of that. Yeah, we moved in April, and I've been streaming from my room upstairs, but I've been slowly trying to make a setup in the basement, and now we're in the basement. I've finally fulfilled my my fate of living in my mom's basement, as all good nerds should at some point. Argleton, am I saying that right? A phantom town in Lancashire, England, was famously appeared on digital maps, but in reality it never existed, puzzling map users and locals. That's crazy. We can make them do push-ups here. I mean, kind of. I'd have to move the two chairs over there, cause yeah. I mean, I can move my gaming chair out of the way I do, but yeah, let's not do that. That's why there's no thing set up for that yet. There's no redeem for that yet, because you guys will kill me. I'll be looking like set in like 2 months. Okay. It's gonna be hard for me to keep track of the YouTube chat if people start chatting in there, but I don't expect too many people to chat in there because I don't normally stream on there. So I will obviously keep track of the Twitch chat with my little overlay thing, but just got to keep an eye on YouTube chat. I have it open on my phone too, but the odds of me like seeing that out of the corner of my eye, I don't know. All right. So I'm also standing. I have a standing desk now, which is cool. I don't know how long that's gonna last. We might sit down at some point. We'll see how this goes. This is my first time streaming with it in the like standing position, but we'll see. It's pretty cool because you can preset like heights. So I just have to press like one button and it goes to the height that I like it when I'm sitting, and I press one button and it goes to the height that I like it when I'm standing. So super convenient. All right. So this stream, I don't know how long this stream is gonna be. I kind of just want to like go over some things. Maybe do some live readings that I could use for like future videos and clips and stuff later. And what else? Maybe do some writing. So I had this idea a long time ago for Twitch that I wanted to do a choose your own adventure style game. That's all text, obviously. But I thought like I would put it into Google Drive, right? And then we would write it and map everything out and figure all that stuff out. I gotta remember to look at the camera over here, by the way. It's gonna take me a while to get used to that. I don't have it on top of the monitor anymore. It's to my right. I could put it on top of the monitor, but I feel like it came with like the stand that doesn't go higher than the monitor. So I wanted it on the stand because we could make it move. And I figured it would be easier on the stand than if I put it on top of the monitor because I wasn't sure how that stuff worked. But we'll have to experiment with it, I guess. I guess I could try it on top of the monitor at some point. But yeah, so wait, if I click on multi-stream, does it show me both chats? It says stream chat read only, and then it shows me nothing. Okay, that would have been super convenient. Maybe it does do that. Maybe I got to set something up. Yeah, so I had this idea where it would be like a choose your own adventure kind of game. And how it would work is I can pull it up just so I can explain it better. Hold on. If I can find it. Oh, here it is. Thank God I label everything. Yeah, so basically it's like a Google Doc that has what you need to like control F to find the next part. So like if you make a choice, it gives you what to control F and then you go to that point of the story and that's where you pick it up. I thought it would be a really cool idea if we could like really flesh it out and get it made. Then I could like share it with other streamers and they can play with their chat. But it's kind of difficult because like I need it to be long enough and interesting enough, but I also don't want to make them super long. Like, you know, if a lot of people enjoy it and they use it and we play it in my chat, other people play it in their chats and stuff like that, I think it would be cool, you know, to get that feedback from people and then they can tell me like, oh, I wish this was longer or, you know, the next one should be longer. Then we could do a new one that's longer if it does well or people are enjoying it or stuff like that. But right now it's in the very, very early stages. I started it like forever ago. I had this idea like so long ago and I started writing it and then I never went back to it. So it started, but it's like not even close to anywhere near done. But if we're gonna do these fantasy distraction streams every Tuesday, which is my plan, that might leave us a lot of room to work on it. Like in the future or just more going forward. Um, because everything I'm gonna need to discuss and do on this stream, um, probably won't take that long. So like, if the streams are doing well and I want to extend them, you know, like longer than, because I think I'm probably gonna stream for like maybe 2 hours ish. So let's say I wanted to make it like the normal length of my normal streams, which is about like 4 to 5 hours. We could extend that by working on the choose your own adventure story. But like going through the actual stuff I'm planning to do for these streams isn't gonna take that long. So people are enjoying them and you know, we're just hanging out and vibing anyway. Then yeah, we can work on that on stream. I'll read it and we'll break it down once I'm done going through everything I need to go through for fantasy distractions because this stream is supposed to be for kind of just like our plans and our update. I was looking to do a video like this. I recorded a video of everything I'm going to talk about in this stream and I was going to upload it prior to the new year. but I didn't end up doing that because the the original one, ironically enough, the original one that I posted or recorded, I forgot to talk about the streams. So that one, I was like, oh, well, I can't really use that. I could have just put something like at the end that was like, oh, streams on Tuesdays also. But I kind of wanted that to be included in because it's a more like important thing that I want to do going forward. So I totally forgot to mention the streams. So I ended up scrapping the original video that I did, and I was like, oh, I got to re-record it, and then I never really got around to re-recording it before the new year. So now it's too late now. So I'm just gonna do my first stream about what's coming. Even though we've technically released one of the things already. But it is what it is. It's my fault. Ultimately, I messed up, but it's not that big of a deal, I don't think, because we can just talk about it now. So I'm gonna get into that. We're gonna break down my plans for 2024. I've already begun to execute them. Actually, everything I'm planning to release in January outside of like additional stuff like TikToks and like YouTube shorts and maybe like some posts on Instagram and stuff like that. Basically, everything else for January, I've already scheduled to release. Like that stuff is done. It's coming out. It's ready to go. Excuse me. I was going to start working on the February stuff today. I didn't really get around to it as much as I thought I was going to. Some other stuff came up, but this weekend for sure, I'm gonna be knocking out a lot of the stuff for February as well. So the idea is to stay ahead, and my reasoning for staying ahead, outside of I just like to be ahead with these things, is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out like the last day of February, I believe. So I want to make sure that I have everything done, wrapped up, and ready to go for when that comes out because I am going to be streaming and playing that game probably for like the entire month of March. So I wanted to make sure that I have everything wrapped up and ready to go from like now until what I'm shooting for is like until May. Because after March, fantasy distractions or I can't make like streaming work or YouTube or anything work, I'll finally be going back to like a real job. So I don't know, like probably once I'm comfortable with the new job or wherever I end up being, I'm sure once I'm like comfortable, like still doing fantasy distractions and maybe still streaming if I'm not too tired or have the time, will be possible. But I wanted to do it where fantasy distractions can just kind of run itself, so I don't have to worry about it. Once I go back to work, so I'm trying to plan ahead, um, as much as I can. Dang man, I haven't been streaming for that long. Wait, why can't I ban this first? Back. I can't do it from Streamlabs. I gotta do it from here. Oh my god. Yeah. So basically, I wanted everything set up so that it can run itself all the way up until like May. So that's my plan. That's what I'm trying to get set up and ready to go. Preferably all done and ready to go before Rebirth comes out. So I have until I think it's like February 29th. Rebirth comes out. So I have until February 29th to schedule all of the fantasy distraction stuff from now until May. So I've already got all of January done. But that means I have a lot of work cut out for me in February. But it didn't really take me long to do all of January. Like all the January stuff took me like maybe like 3 to 4 days. But that was like me starting from scratch, and what I did manage to do was I managed to schedule all of the Spotify stuff that I'm planning to do, and I'm going to start uploading the written version of the stories to Royal Road, which I've already technically started to do. I experimented with that like months ago, and it actually got way more views than I thought it was going to. So we're going to be continuing that. So everything for Spotify and Royal Road is actually uploaded already from now until May. So that is taken care of. I don't have to worry about that. And then as far as the videos and stuff goes, um, I wasn't really sure how I was going to approach that, but now I kind of got like a good method and rhythm down for it. So that should actually go a lot quicker too. So like if you take away Royal Road, Spotify, and having to figure out how I wanted to style the videos, I probably could have got all the January stuff done in like 2 days, not 4 days. So, yeah, I'm actually gonna have an easier time doing the rest of the stuff now that I kind of figured out how I'm doing everything. So, yeah, hopefully I can get everything done in February. Sorry, in January and February. And then yeah, why am I talking like it's already February? I have 2 months to do this. Um yeah, so we get that done and then I don't have to worry about anything. So that way I can just stream and enjoy Rebirth. I can go back to work when I need to, and it should continue to run itself until I am more comfortable to get back to writing and working on it. But we're gonna break down a lot of that. I should probably just follow my outline here to make my life easier. But yeah, that's the plan. So I kind of just talked about how I'm breaking down everything for 2024 indirectly, but now just talking about it directly. It's gonna follow a specific structure where Monday is gonna be re-releases of our old fantasy distractions. At the moment, I'm just going in order of season 1, so it'll be like fantasy distraction 1 through 50. And I'm trying to be mindful of raising my hand to the camera so it doesn't start doing the thing where it tracks me, because that's how you make it track you, by lifting your hand up. I can show you. So if I go like this, the camera now tracks me wherever I go. Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to be mindful of raising my hand when I'm talking. I talk with my hands. I'm Italian, so it's gonna happen. But I'm trying to avoid it. Trying to be mindful. All right. So yeah. So we already started doing it where the word scroll version of the original season of Fantasy Distractions is going to be coming out on Mondays. So the one we just released yesterday was Natalie, which was the very first Fantasy Distraction we ever released. So we released a word scroll version, which is basically just like the subtitles on the screen. I'm just calling it word scroll version, but it's basically just like so you could read along. It's like a read along version. That same method is being adopted or adapted to the new stuff we're releasing as well. So you'll see with Friday's video, which is going to be brand new content, it will also have the words on it. So all future videos from now on will have the words on the screen scrolling. I've always been trying to get movement on screen. We did just like little animation when we were releasing any videos previously. I would have like where the words kind of typewriter onto the screen and then typewriter off, and that would happen like every 2 minutes or something like that. But I know like motion and stuff on the screen is important, so I figured if I just have the words scrolling, that'll count for like motion in the video. And plus, a lot of people have asked me to just put the words on the screen and do that, so that's also why we're doing it. But it kind of knocks out both of those issues that we've had in the past, and just makes it better for everyone. For us, we get basically free motion in our videos, which should help the algorithm. I honestly have no idea how this stuff works. Obviously, because we only have 350 subscribers and like no views, but yeah, so that covers a base for us, and it's something that people have asked me for in the past, so kind of just takes care of both of those things. So we will be re-releasing everything from season 1 in that form on Mondays, and then as I already mentioned, new stuff will be coming out on Fridays. And then how we're going to do everything in between is Tuesdays are going to be for streams. So every Tuesday night we'll be doing what we're doing now. On top of that, I'm going to try to make the any kind of content that I want to release as far as like TikToks, or I might, if I do, which I plan to do live readings on this stream, I might chop up the live readings from the stream and upload them separately on Tuesdays. Maybe as like a 2-for-1 kind of thing, where like the 2 stories I read tonight, I'll put them together and release that as like a video on the main channel on Tuesdays, just to kind of give us like some bonus content. It's stuff I'm doing anyway on the stream. And then I'm also going to use Tuesdays for like TikToks, YouTube shorts, things like that, because I don't want to junk up the channel too much either, because a lot of the stuff we're doing is not all on the channel, but we're doing 2 videos a week again, so I don't want to like, you know, release shorts on top of the main releases, I guess, if that makes sense. So by like kind of staggering it, we have more content throughout the week and just more stuff that we could do in general. So that'll be Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday will be new releases on Spotify. I'm calling them new releases, but if you've followed the YouTube channel, they're actually old. But it's the fantasy shorts, because I never uploaded those to Spotify. So all the new releases on Spotify will actually be fantasy shorts, which if you have been following and watching the videos on the YouTube channel, they are already on there. So if you want to get ahead of the Spotify, you can go on there. The only difference is going to be that I will be, well, I already did. I re-recorded a lot of my fantasy shorts. Toward the end of season 1, it was harder for me to get our voice actors to do the readings for me. Just because of time. They were working on like the main stuff. We were planning to do episode 50, which was going to have like everybody in it. It was a lot harder for me to get the shorts recorded by our voice actors. So I ended up having to do a lot of that in order to keep up with the schedule that I had planned for season 1. So because of that, I kind of had to rush a lot of the last fantasy shorts, which I'm okay with the yo, what's up, Kai? How you doing, man? I'm okay with how the writing came out, because a lot of the shorts I wrote like ahead of time, as opposed to the main fantasy distractions, where a lot of those I wrote like the week of, towards the end, which I'm also still pretty happy with the way that came out too. But yeah, I had to record a lot of them kind of last second myself, and I wasn't happy with how a lot of them came out. So now I was able to kind of just take my time with them. I re-recorded a lot of the ones that I did, and then I uploaded them to Spotify. So a couple of the fantasy shorts that are done by me should sound a lot better on Spotify than they do on the YouTube. Like I had a lot of like audio issues during the first season of Fantasy Distraction. So like a lot of my readings and narration and stuff had a lot of like static and a lot of echo in the room that I used to record in, and background noise and stuff like that. So these should sound a lot better and should be a little more crisp on Spotify, hopefully. Then Thursdays are going to be the Royal Road uploads. So I mentioned that we dabbled a little bit in Royal Road a couple of months ago. I as an experiment, I uploaded 5 of our stories, and then a week after that I uploaded another 5, and I was going to just dump like 5 at a time on there. But then I ended up not keeping up with that. So I ended up only putting up those 10 and then like completely forgetting about it. Like I literally never went back. And then I remembered about it a couple of weeks ago. And I was surprised to see that even though I wasn't uploading anything there, I have 588 total views on there, which compared to like other Royal Road stuff, I guess isn't really a lot. But you know, if I uploaded like a brand new YouTube video on the Fantasy Distractions channel and it got 500 views, I would be pretty happy with that because our content, I mean, the new one I just put up yesterday got like 16 views. So like, let's say that one I put up yesterday got 500 views. I'd be pretty happy with that. Now, I mean, I put up 10 of them, so that average is kind of like spread out. Like, just for an example, Natalie on there got 59 views, and Kai got 63, and Eden got 60. So they're averaging anywhere from like 50 to 60. Tabor actually only got 45, which is kind of weird. I feel like that's one of our best written early stories. So that one actually got the least. And Morska, I guess because it's about mermaids and stuff, that got 83 views. So Morska kind of was the peak. Everything else was like averaging about 50 to 60 views, which honestly, like, even if our YouTube videos got 50 to 60 views right now, I'd probably be pretty happy with that, considering we don't really get a lot. They eventually get to like 50. Like, let me go to content, right? So like the Halloween short we did a couple of months ago now has 57 views. So like eventually they get somewhere in between like 30 and like 60 views, but for the most part they're pretty, we don't really get a lot of views at the moment, sadly. Not without me running ads, which I can't afford to do right now. So yeah, like if our YouTube videos got as many views as these Royal Road uploads are getting without me even updating or touching it, you know? So now that I'm going to be like consistently uploading stuff weekly on there from now until May. Actually, I think these I scheduled to like June. No, I think it was the Spotify uploads I did to June. Let me see, actually, hold on. These go to, okay, these go to May. Yeah, so the Spotify uploads are going to June. I actually uploaded all of the shorts there, but so I'm curious to see how this does now that we'll be uploading more often and we'll be uploading once a week, every Thursday. I'm curious to see how it does. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, this is 500 and it's 588 total views, and I average about 59 on there, and that's without me even uploading anything. So now that we'll be back to uploading, we'll see how it goes. But any eyes and views we could get on the series, and then if maybe they go check out the YouTube channel from it, or maybe even subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would be huge. You know, like I put that it's also a YouTube series, but I'm not sure if we've actually gotten any subs from this. But when you think about it, that's 588 people that could have potentially subscribed to the YouTube channel. You know, so I mean, it's exposure, and it seems to be working even without me trying. So now that I will be trying, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, it works. So then Fridays will be brand new releases. So it's gonna be a little more along the lines of season 1 releases. So it's not gonna be it's not really gonna continue where I started to upload like the Onyx Obsidian War stuff. We're still gonna have stories that are set in the Onyx Obsidian War. So like storyline wise, like scope, I guess, like grand scope, grand scheme of things. We are in the Onyx Obsidian War timeline as far as Fenrir goes. So any storylines that take place on Fenrir will be those. But a lot of our early on new stuff is going to be a little all over the place, just because I had written I was trying to do this 365-day challenge where I was going to upload a video every day, a short story every day for an entire year. And I had written like 80 something short stories for that. So I didn't end up doing that, obviously. So my niece is running around if you hear her stomping or screaming. Yeah, I wrote like 80 short stories that we didn't end up using like at all. We released a couple of them. Um, but yeah, we didn't really end up doing anything with those. So I want to use those and just kind of release them in the meantime to give me time to figure out exactly what I want to do with the channel, while still releasing some good content that is very similar to our original season. You know, the original season didn't have a um continual story going on. That was something we were trying to do for the second season, but it kind of fell apart. But I don't want to abandon that story because I've written a lot of that as well. I think I'm like 20 chapters into what was originally going to be like season 2 of this. So I don't really want to waste that either. It's just a matter of like how I want to execute it and release everything. So while I figure that out, in the meantime, I have all these short stories that I wrote. So we're gonna do those in the meantime. So those are, like I said, they're a little bit all over the place. Um, the first two, like the one that's coming out Friday, is the continuation of the Isla stuff that I started to release. Those stories include I released a story called Isla Number One, The Eye of Rask. That was actually that's so weird. It was actually January 2nd of 2023 I released that story. So right at the beginning of last year. So if you go back 14 minutes, it would have been exactly a year from now. So that's pretty weird. But yeah. So about a year ago, we released the very first Isla story. It was called The Eye of Rask. Isla is the continent on Fenrir to the north where Rask has been revived, basically. And now that he's back, the snowy tundra that is Isla is starting to warm up and things are starting to change on that continent. And Rask is kind of reaching out to these people that are kind of going to be his like loyal followers. And that was the start of that. We were doing it was supposed to be like a 5-part series in Isla. Um, and it started with the Eye of Rask, and then the second one was a story called the Wolf King, which I actually really like. That story I think came out really good, and only got 28 views though. Feels bad, man. But the Wolf King story was the second part of that, and then I also released a story called The Voice of Rask, which only got 12 views. But those three were kind of like the predecessor to the story I'm releasing on Friday. So if you want a little more backstory on what's happening on Isla, um, those three stories are where to start. But we've also done other Rask stories before. I believe fantasy short number 18 or so. I'll look at the exact number. Fantasy short number 17. And then regular fantasy distraction, probably also 17, because that's kind of how I was doing these, unless I needed to wait for recording. Yeah, so fantasy distraction number 17 is also about Rask. So distraction number 17, short number 17, and those three stories on Isla kind of set up the story we're releasing on Friday. And then the week following that one, so this Friday and then the following Friday will also be Isla related. And then after that, it's kind of all over the place. We're going to be doing a lot of stories set in uh, the Soldier's Crest storyline, which is my first book that I released. Was published for a while. It's not published anymore. And it was originally self-published. It's not self-published anymore. Literally, the only way to get this book is through me at the moment. But maybe someday it'll be re-released. That was a big mess, but we're gonna just be doing some stories on those characters. We've set the stage for that previously. It's kind of hard because of the break that we took. That it might be like a little confusing to some people. Um, I'm hoping it's not too bad. I hope people can just kind of enjoy the stories as standalones like we did in the first season. But yeah, we had a Soldier's Crest #1 introduction to Chroma and the Stratus. Um, that was a pretty long video. It was like 11 minutes. It was the last video I think Peepo did for us. It was a pretty long reading. It was probably like one of our longest that we've ever done on the channel. We don't have many videos that go past 10 minutes unless it's like a big collab kind of thing. So that kind of sets the stage for the book. That it's actually the prologue to the book, basically, is what she read for us. So, and then we also had a Faris Featherwind short and a Dawn Windar short that we released back in September. Those are all connected kind of to the same storyline that we're now going to be following in the weeks to come. We're going to have a couple of stories set in a Soldier's Crest timeline. I don't really want to say universe because I consider them all in the same universe. So I'll just say timeline because it takes place prior to the events of Fantasy Distractions. And it kind of kicks off everything that my books and my series are connected to. So we'll be having some of Soldier's Crest stories in there. I might do some MOA stories. In this current outline up till May, there aren't any MOA stories in that. It's just Soldier's Crest and Fenrir stuff, and a little Galaxy Federation stuff as well. But yeah, I'm already losing my voice. That's not good. But yeah, that's how that's gonna go. So we're gonna bounce around a little bit from Soldier's Crest, Fenrir stuff. But all the storylines should stand alone and be. You should be able to follow them even if you don't listen to any of the other ones. They're kind of just stories that stand on their own, and they're explained and presented in a way that it shouldn't be confusing. But that is kind of how we're going to be handling these stories, just because I have them written already and ready to go. And it's something that I can just kind of crank out. And I'm still, like, I don't, like, feel these stories are rushed or bad or anything. So, we're just using them in the meantime while I get my life together, basically. But hopefully, the channel gains some traction and maybe we can finally do like animation and stuff like that. I have a lot of ideas for the channel. It's just we need the money and the support. Like our videos are only getting like 10 views or whatever. So, obviously we don't have the community or the like fans for it. And I'm trying to make that work. I'm trying to get it in front of as many people as possible. And I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have. Like obviously if we were able to get animation on any of these videos, that would be huge. And it would bring in a lot more people and subscribers and fans and followers and community and all that stuff. That would come with it. But like just to get animation done on one video would cost me like probably like $2,000. So same with like custom art. Like I would love to get custom art on every single video just to spice them up. And I refuse to use AI. We dabbled in AI a little bit. I've learned my lesson and my mistakes, and I am no longer doing that ever again. But yeah, so that without using AI, it's like impossible to get custom made art for every single video without it costing me like a fortune. And like the Coinbox Tees guys, they do help me out a lot. But it's still money that I have to spend on every single video. And like if I wanted 2 or 3 images per video, like it would probably cost me like anywhere from like at the least it would probably be like $240 a video. At the most, it would probably be like anywhere from like $300 to $600. So I don't have that kind of money, and that's not something I can really do. I would love to do it, but can't do it. Hatsu said something on YouTube. Let me see. He said, "Can't wait to see the day." What is that in reference to, Akatsu? Because I think I missed this message, so I don't know what I was talking about when you said that. The day when we can actually do animation. Maybe that isn't as old of a message as I thought. But yeah, I would love to do all that stuff, but we need a little bit more. Honestly, I really just need the channel monetized, and it's been really hard for me to get like subscribers and watch time and viewers and stuff like that. I think that's like our first step to getting this stuff done, because I'm not really gonna get like sponsors or anything like that, and I would feel bad like if people donated money and stuff. I'd rather just do it all through monetization, because once we get monetized and we could get like the viewership to like make it sustain itself, then I could just take the money I make from the channel and put it into art. I could put it into animation, stuff like that. So that's kind of like my main focus and goal now that I'm back to being consistent with this stuff, is to just get us monetized and hope that I could add those things with the more successful the channel gets, if that makes sense. Kind of just want it to fuel itself, but it's hard to do that when nobody knows who you are. But yeah, so that's the plan. A little more structured, since I'm kind of just going off all over the place here. Mondays, word scroll versions of season 1. So Fantasy Distraction 1 through however far it takes us to get to May and maybe beyond. Tuesdays will be streams and any kind of bonus content, anything I could clip from the streams, YouTube shorts, TikToks, things like that. Wednesday will be new releases on Spotify. Thursday will be those Royal Road releases. Friday will be brand new content. And then the weekend will just be like any other random stuff I want to do. I'll probably just like relax a little bit. And anything I don't get to schedule in time, I'll just use the weekends to do that. Like I said, hopefully by the time Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out, I have everything scheduled and ready to go all the way through May. But that is the structure we're following for now. Excuse me. Now, outside of that and beyond that, there's some things that I'll have to decide the closer we get to May. I don't want to give up on this project. I don't really want it to slow down to how slow it's been the last 2 years. Because we had a really strong season 1. Like season 1, we did great, and everything went exactly like how I wanted it to. Yeah, we cut it close on a couple of releases, but season 1 was like perfect in my book, as far as like we stuck to the schedule. We got out everything that we wanted to do. I had the idea for fantasy shorts, like adding that extra story per week very early on, and we were able to execute it starting from, I think it was Fantasy Distraction number 22. So we managed to get out extra stories. The stories I was pretty happy with. We did a good job of making them stand alone, but also kind of have like Easter eggs and build up to the next big things we were planning to do. So season 1 was like picture perfect for me, outside of like, exposure. Like we didn't really do a great job with subs or views. A lot of our views in season 1 came from me running ads when I had the money to do that. So yeah, like outside of like, I guess taking steps towards monetizing the channel, everything in season 1 went as good as it could go, you know? So I think we need to get back to the season 1 style, and hopefully we could take it from there and just build off that, and I could just be a little more consistent, and hopefully we could start to gain some traction and people will notice our channel and hopefully subscribe and give us the views we need to monetize, and then we could really start getting like crazy. You know, I could start getting art made, because art is probably where we'll start, right? The more art I can get made for videos, and if I'm like that far ahead and I could get art made for like a video that's coming out in a few months, and maybe if I want to do like 1 or 2 pictures, I can get that art made. So when that time comes around, I'll have art for the next video and the next video and the next video. And then eventually animation would be the dream, right? Um so yeah, talked about the scheduling, how we're gonna do things, how everything's gonna get broken down. I talked a little bit about a Soldier's Crest, yeah. So let me dig a little deeper into Soldier's Crest. So it's a post-apocalyptic Earth that has been reverted into medieval times, and it is the setting for my first book that I self-published. Then I got picked up by a publisher, and the publisher went out of business, and I've kind of been like free floating it ever since. So um, that will be included in some fantasy distractions going forward. Like I said, we have some videos set in that timeline already, so definitely go check that out if you want to know more. But the new stories coming out should stand on their own. As far as MOA goes, I started writing some short stories for MOA. The problem with MOA is, like, I can do fantasy distraction style stories for MOA, but I left that story in like a cliffhangery kind of spot. And I think I would rather just continue it the way I did it originally. Which was like, it really was like the precursor to fantasy distractions, because I actually wrote those chapters on stream, recorded them, and released them like the following Friday. And I did that for like a couple of weeks. I don't remember exactly how many weeks. It depends on how many episodes there are of MOA. Let me see. I could check that real quick. This is stuff I probably should have had ready. Yo, what's up, Kitty? How you doing? I should have had this stuff ready to go prior to the stream, but I didn't really know what I was going to talk about too much here. 34. There were 34 chapters of MOA, so I did that for 34 weeks straight. I'm actually really happy with how MOA came out as well, because I wrote them week to week, so I thought the quality of the writing was going to be bad. But when I go back and I like read MOA or I listen to it or whatever, I'm actually really happy with how that came out. I like a lot of the characters. So I think I might try to hold off and do that in a similar way to how we did the first season of that, but just um fix it where I'm so happy I lowered the sound of hypa hypa, but I'm so happy that I lowered the sound of that. It wasn't a jump scare this time. That was our most played sound alert in 2023. Hypa, and I added it late, which is crazy. But yeah, so MOA, I really like a lot of the characters. I really like the way that story was like going and developing. Wait, can you not hear it? Is it too low for you to hear? No. I made it low on my end. Can you guys not hear that now? Nothing showed up. What the heck? I wonder if it's because I'm multi-streaming. Oh, you know what it is? I think it's not on. It might not be on this scene on OBS. Hold on, give me 1 sec. Hold on. Give me 1 sec. It might not be on the scene. Nope, it's definitely here. Hold on. The heck happened? Can I do my own? I cannot. Play another one, Kitty. I'll refund you the points. I don't know why it didn't pop up. It's definitely on the scene. It might be because I'm multi-streaming, but that would be kind of weird. Okay, so I hear it. I hear it, and it's playing. Why is it not playing for you guys? All right, let's investigate this real quick. Like, the fact that I'm able to hear it means that it should be working. I could just replay them from sound awards, but why? I wonder if it's because I'm multi-streaming, but I feel like I've watched people multi-streaming and it still pops up. I could just straight refund it from here. That's good to know. Yeah, status says everything okay, have fun. It's not okay. It's clearly not okay. What about when we're on the main thing? I'm gonna become really small and flipped for a second. What about when we're on this screen? Let me just replay. Okay, so it plays on here. Now I'm even more confused. And you still don't hear it. So it showed it on the screen, but you guys aren't hearing it. The fact that you're not hearing it could just be because I lowered the volume of it a lot. Let me try. I'm gonna max it out. I'm gonna go deaf again. Hold on. I just need to make sure you guys can hear it. That still didn't pop up on the screen for some reason. You guys still couldn't hear that? Also, what's up, Sarah? Okay, you heard it, but it still didn't pop up on the screen? It's back to making me deaf. So it's back to being a jump scare for me. It feels bad. Foiled again by Hypa Hypa. I love Hypa Hypa, so it's okay. I know why it's not popping up. I know what I did wrong. My camera is above it. So it's popping up, it's just behind the camera. So you guys can't see it. So now you should be able to see it. Let me see. Let me run it back. It wasn't there at first because I didn't transition, but it'll pop up now. Okay. All right. Fixed. Saved. Yeah, I'm going to be deaf whenever it goes off again, but saved. All right. That was very important. Hypa is priority number 1. Okay. What was I talking about? I don't know. MOA? Yeah, so MOA, I think that's how we're going to handle MOA in the future. We're going to do... Did I make the camera follow me? Yeah, we're good. Yeah, so MOA... I think I'm going to do MOA the way that I did it originally. And just hold off on that. I wrote like... how many did I write for the... Yeah, I was talking about MOA. How many did I write for the 365 thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wrote 7. Did I finish this one? Yeah, I wrote 7 short stories set in Moa. But when I was writing those, I wasn't really like feeling it as much compared to like the Soldier's Crest ones or the new fantasy distraction ones. So I don't think I'm gonna release those. I think I'm gonna hold off on those and just do it the way I did the first season. So yeah. And that's pretty much it as far as updates go. I would like to do, I want to do some live readings that maybe I could use for video content in the future on the channel. And then I think we're gonna do maybe a little choose your own adventure stuff. What's it? How long have I been streaming? The stream is going so fast, I feel. I've been live for an hour and 7 minutes already. That's crazy. All right. My stream struggling? I think we're okay. I just got like a lag spike on my stream. Like I was fine, but all right. So talking about a Soldier's Crest stuff, I believe. So I want to do a unreleased story and then one that we've already released. So the unreleased story I wanted to do was a Synthro story, but Synthro he's like the main baddie for Soldier's Crest. But I just realized that I had a two-parter for that story I was originally going to read. I actually have like a two-parter. It's story time. And the Synthro one I read. I like reread it. This one I did not. So maybe this will be more fun because this might be complete trash. I don't know. It'll probably be fine. But I didn't reread this one. I didn't like pre-read this one. I like methodically picked out which 2 stories I wanted to read on stream, and I just now realized when I was scrolling through that I had like a first part to this. So it'll make more sense. Maybe I'll just read both of these. They're both unreleased, like we never used these before. So maybe I'll read both of them and I'll just make like a singular video out of them with like 2 unreleased stories. So that they make sense. They're both very, very short. They're both like 2 pages long. Because when I was doing the 365-day thing, I was like, if I'm going to write a story for every day of the year, I am going to make them fantasy short length, not fantasy distraction length. Which, I mean, is only the difference of like 2 pages. And when I started writing them, some of them did end up being like the fantasy distraction length, not fantasy short length. But this one is only 2 pages. I think the Synthro one might be longer. Synthro is 3 pages. So it's not that much longer, but it's like, and it's not even like a full 3rd page. So it's like half a page longer. Not that big of a deal. All right. So just a little extra information for people watching the stream versus listening to it on probably the YouTube version that I might release later. So like I said, Synthro is the big bad for A Soldier's Crest, but he isn't the main villain of the first book. He kind of shows up later. But he's this like warrior from the past that everybody still talks about. Like there's a lot of stories told about him, and people always bring him up. And a really funny story that I'll probably never tell again but it'll be on stream and available for people to clip and view later. So the name Synthro comes from when I was a kid. I was pretty young when I first played Final Fantasy VII, and I couldn't figure out how to pronounce Sephiroth for some reason. I mean, I was old enough to where I should have been able to just sound it out. So I just called him Synthro because it was easier for me. And I guess like subconsciously, I've been on Synthroid medication for my thyroid since I was born. I have taken a pill for it every single day of my life, basically. So I don't know if like my brain was just like, yeah, I hate taking this pill and it's the villain. So I took like Synthro from Synthroid and couldn't pronounce Sephiroth for some reason. We had like funny, me and my friends all like committed to this too. Like nobody was like, hey, if you sound it out, it's Sephiroth. Why do we call this guy Synthro? I don't know. But me and my friends all committed to that. Like my sister still calls him that sometimes too when she sees Sephiroth. She's like, "Oh, it's Synthro." I'm like, "Yeah, e- exactly." So we messed up everything, everything. Um, like if free, we used to call it like I rift. Like it's not even like I mean, it's like the letters mixed up. Maybe I was dyslexic when I was kid, but we got all the names wrong. And we all committed to it, like me and my friends. Like nobody corrected anybody. So we called them that for a very long time. Um, and then when I started writing my own stuff, I was like, well, in my head, Sephiroth is who he's based on anyway, and that has always been like my favorite villain growing up. So the villain of my book should just be Synthro because it's not the same name. It's not even close to the same name. So that's kind of the origin of the name for Synthro. He just kind of became like my book series version of Sephiroth, but like they do have a lot of differences at the same time. Like there's a lot of similarities and differences. Like fighting style is very similar. They both use katanas. They're both mama's boys in a way. I guess that's just kind of like my what I'm drawn to because Set is also a mama's boy, but um yeah, so that's where that name comes from. I'll probably never bring that up again because it's embarrassing, but it's just what it's from. Like that, unless like a Soldier's Crest becomes like a household name and it's like the next Game of Thrones, and I get interviewed about why he's named Syndrome. But other than that, I'll probably never mention it again. But anyway, so this first story is the kind of like the first part of it. There's this other character that has a name that has no backstory because I just thought it sounded cool. His name is Rayo, and he is essentially everything Synthro like wants to aspire to be or become. So Rayo kind of takes him under his wing at an early age and turns him into like the fighter that he becomes. The interesting part of it that isn't really mentioned in these stories, at least I don't remember because I haven't pre-read this one. I wrote this one like 2 years ago. It's a great story. Thanks, Kitty. Yeah, it's pretty funny, but it's also kind of embarrassing at the same time. And then so basically Rayo is this legendary hero of old. And what happens is as Synthro becomes more of a villain and like a bad guy, um, but also this mainstay in like stories that you tell your children or just fantasy stories that are told in this world. A lot of the stories about Synthro's like heroics, some of them are just straight up things Rayo did. Like Synthro wasn't even there for some of them, but it just gets to the point where like Synthro is, this legendary hero that everybody talks and knows about. And some of the things that people like praise him for were things that Rayo did. And those stories just kind of like overlap and more people forget about Rayo. And Synthro is just kind of like the legendary hero. Katsu and I are dyslexic. We do that all the time. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know, like, because I was probably like 13 when 7 came out. I want to say I was like 12 or 13. I don't think I was any younger than that. It came out in 1997. I don't know how old I was in 1997. I should probably like be able to do that math quick, but yeah. However old I was in 1997, I could not figure out how to sound out Sephiroth apparently. Or I mean, a freet isn't really like pronounced the way that it's spelled, so that one I think I get a little bit of a pass. I just don't know how I got rift out of it, but I can't remember any of the other ones. We had like weird names for everybody. I think most of them I ended up using somewhere in some of these stories. So it kind of worked out that I got them wrong, I guess, because it helped expand my imagination, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to justify it however I can. But yeah, so this first one that I wrote is called Legends Rising Rayo. And then the other one, obviously, is Legends Rising Synthro. And they must be connected. I don't remember this one. So we're going to read this one first, and then we'll read the Synthro one. Let me just make sure there wasn't anything else I wanted to talk about before we do this. Yeah, I think we're good. I think Akatsu mentioned the other day that you guys were dyslexic. Well, not both of you. I think he mentioned that he was. So it's weird that it came back up again so soon. We just talked about it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna read this, and then we'll read the Synthro one. And we might dabble. We'll at least talk about and maybe just read what I have already for the choose your own adventure idea that I want to do. Specifically on these streams. So every one of these streams will go very similar. We'll talk about like what's coming for the week, what I have planned, stuff like that, and then we'll read 2 stories. I want to read 2 stories live per week, either unreleased stuff or released stuff, and then maybe just like revisiting some of the older stuff. Not necessarily like I don't want to read the new stuff that's coming and spoil it, unless it's like the week after or something. Plus, we have other people. Like I'm not voicing all of them. I typically don't really like to read ones that were voiced by some of our other voice actors. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll figure it out. For now, we're gonna read 2 completely unreleased stories. I might not actually ever release them anywhere. So yeah, we're gonna read these, and then we'll mess around with the choose your own adventure thing. All right, so here we go. I'm already losing my voice, so I might have to stop to drink water a couple times in this, so there might be edits. I don't know, but yeah. All right, here we go. On Chroma, there were many legends and stories, none as famous as Synthro. Synthro was a warrior said to possess incredible strength, speed, and technique. His fighting style was ever changing, and because he lived for a very long time, he could continue to change it as he learned new things during his adventures. Thank you for the hydrate, Kitty. I definitely need it tonight for some reason. However, before the days of Synthro, there was a warrior of similar style and reputation. This man was rumored to have trained Synthro when he was a boy, and many even considered him the only reason that Synthro is a household name on Chroma. This man was known as Rayo. Rayo was often referred to as the legendary Blade. While the nickname was rather strange, it was in reference to his weapon of choice, a black steel katana. Often people would recognize the weapon before recognizing the man. It was a symbol that represented Rayo, and it would become a symbol that people would use to recognize Synthro as well. At a young age, Synthro was banished from the forest of the New Heaven and forced to survive on his own in a new world that was still being explored. Afraid and alone, Synthro traveled looking for answers, a place to stay, and food. As a young boy, it was hard for him to accomplish these things, especially without any idea on where to go. Eventually, without finding enough solutions to his problems, Synthro passed out on a dirt road. When he came to, standing above him was a tall, slender woman with sandy blonde hair. She was wearing black leather armor that had a belt holding 2 daggers, and she had a bow with a quiver on her back. Synthro would later learn this woman's name is Arissa. She traveled with Rayo, and after saving Synthro's life, she would be the one to introduce Synthro to him. While in the forest of the New I always want to say Haven for some reason. While in the forest of the New Heaven, Synthro was an avid reader, and Rayo was like one of the heroes from the books he read, coming to life. The truth is, Synthro's admiration for Rayo and looking at him with that concept in his mind was not far from the truth. Rayo was a traveling adventurer, that should be. Hold on. I wrote traveling adventure. He was an adventurer. Rayo was a traveling adventurer who helped those in need for nothing in return. He defeated monsters, bandits, and the strongest foes Chroma had ever seen, and in most cases, he did it with relative ease. Traveling with Rayo would help Synthro learn a lot about life in general, but Rayo would be able to help him learn how to fight, how to become one of those legendary heroes he was only able to read about. Despite the madness surrounding him on Chroma at all times, Synthro finally felt like there was some hope in the world. That Rayo could put him on the right path and show him how to make a difference on Chroma. Rayo could easily be that role model for Synthro and teach him how to become a respectable person on Chroma. But the problems that would soon surface would not be because of Rayo's teaching, but instead the unfortunate events of the world and the toll they would take on Synthro's young mind. Pretty short story. There's so much more I could write about Rayo. Like Rayo is like, he's this character that, like I said, he's basically forgotten about and like just forgotten to history. Like only certain people like even remember the tales of him, like older people or immortal people. We have a couple of immortal people in A Soldier's Crest. So like anyone that's actually immortal obviously remembers the difference between the two of them. But there's so much I wanted to do with this character and prequels and like side stories and things like that that I never got around to doing, unfortunately. But maybe we'll explore them in Fantasy Distractions now. We'll see how it goes. The Syndrome one, the Rayo one is like pretty just like vague. Um, very little there. Like you get some of it, but not all of it. Mistral Manisha, how you doing? How's it going? I hope I said that right. Yeah, so very basic, very simple story. Like I said, I was cranking out short stories for this 365-day challenge, so a lot of them are short like this. If we read more of these on stream, they're all relatively like 2 pages, not even. So, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I we're just kind of reading off some unreleased content that I had written for our YouTube channel. That's called Fantasy Distractions. So I might put this up on there one day. I might just upload like this reading. But yeah, we have a bunch of short stories like that one on the YouTube channel if you're interested. We're going to read another one. So that was Legends Rising Rayo. Now this is Legends Rising Synthro, which is kind of like the second, like the continuation of that. So Mistral is fine. Okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna read this real quick, and then we're gonna dabble a little bit with the Choose Your Own Adventure thing. I want to play around with that at least a little bit tonight, because I haven't visited it in a long time. Not that it's very far along. All right, so this is Legends Rising Synthro. If you live on Chroma, then you've heard the tales of Synthro. Synthro was a legendary fighter, unmatched in combat, and a master of many fighting styles. It was said that his reflexes were unlike anything seen on Chroma before, and it made him near impossible to hit. On top of that, the stories say that he lived for centuries, so many believed he was immortal. There's some of the immortals I just mentioned. Synthro is one of them. That's why he's still around. However, stories are just stories, and no one has seen Synthro in years. The rumors were that he found a way to gain access to the islands surrounding Chroma that were off limits to everyone due to the raging ocean around the continent. This would make sense, since there wasn't much left for Synthro to accomplish on Chroma. Synthro first showed up hundreds of years ago, traveling with a group of helpful adventurers led by a man named Rayo. Rayo, Arissa, and Hecton were three wanderers who would help anyone in need. They would travel from town to town to see what they could do to help the people living there. This led to them taking on all manner of quests and building quite the reputation of their own. What's funny with these stories is because I wrote these about a year, maybe like a year and a half ago now. The funny thing about revisiting these is the Synthro story has more information about Rayo, and the Rayo story has more information about Synthro. So like they probably should be titled the opposite, maybe. Maybe I'll have to switch that. This goes a little deeper into Synthro stuff, so maybe this is fine, but a lot of Rayo's was just also about Synthro, but it's whatever. You get the gist. Rayo was the predecessor to Synthro's legend. He was everything Synthro ever dreamed of being, and once the two met, Synthro knew that Rayo could help him achieve those dreams. Rayo took a young Synthro... I almost called him Sephiroth. Rayo took a young Synthro under his wing and trained him. Rayo knew right away that Synthro's power was far beyond his, but knew how to navigate a young person with such extraordinary power. He was once that young person and never had a mentor like himself. So with his guidance, Synthro could become the greatest fighter ever and have values that would save Chroma no matter what danger they faced. There is always a but when it comes to these types of stories. I don't know why I emphasize but like that. That's going to stay in probably on the YouTube video. There is always a but when it comes to these types of stories on Chroma. Synthro could have been great for Chroma. He could have changed the world for the better, but the world betrayed him. You see, Synthro and Rayo accomplished many outstanding feats during their time on Chroma. They defeated an invasion of demons, fought alongside Sanctiville to keep the Balwal Empire from trying to get singular rule on Chroma, and overall just made the world a better place with their heroics. Rayo and Arissa fell in love. Hecton settled down in the kingdom of Azuldra, and even Synthro decided to put his adventuring days behind him. At least until the world called upon him. The reason for Synthro's sudden interest in retirement was a woman by the name of Anastasia. Stasia was the only one who could keep Synthro grounded and keep him happy and focused on making the world a better place. She was the perfect woman in his eyes and helped keep him sane no matter what dangers he was facing. Unfortunately, Stasia got sick, and the healers of Chroma told Synthro it was a disease they had never seen before, and there was no cure. There was no cure. I don't know. Sometimes my pronunciations have like this like I don't even know what to like whistle, and it drives me nuts. And I always have to do retakes. Synthro was tough on the healers. He had saved the world countless times, and he felt that the world owed him. The healers, on the other hand, told him the worst thing they could, that Stasia's disease stemmed from the planet itself. Furious with the world, Synthro wasn't sure what to do, but he knew he wanted to stay by Stasia's side for however many days she had left. She had always supported him and been by his side, so he would return the favor. The healers then heard of a flower on one of the highest mountains on Chroma, inaccessible to the average human, but perhaps the legendary Synthro could retrieve it. This flower was said to hold many healer properties and could be what they needed to save Stasia. That should probably just be like healing properties. This flower was said to hold many healing properties and could be what they needed to save Stasia. Yeah, I think that sounds better. I'm going to change that. So next time I have to read this, I don't make that mistake 20 times. Synthro set out right away, and despite the impossibility of this flower's retrieval, Synthro was able to return with it in just a day. Synthro's bad luck would continue, though, as Stasia passed away while he was getting the flower. The death of Stasia caused an immediate change in Synthro that would last forever. It wasn't even a downward spiral or an emotional break. It was an instant change. Like someone flipped a switch and Synthro went from a hero to a monster. In the initial moment of his in the initial moment of this transformation, Synthro slaughtered the healers watching over Stasia. When the massacre was done, he buried Stasia with the flower. If he if she could not receive the healing from it, then no one would. It's kind of a jerk move to do because he's the only one who could actually retrieve it in the first place. Also, you could see the like Sephiroth similarities. You know, like Sephiroth basically finds out about his past in the library in Nibelheim, and then like the change is like instant when he starts going crazy. There's a lot of Sephiroth influence here. Also wanting to destroy the world, I guess. All right. Unaware of all of Synthro's plans, the leaders of the kingdoms of Chroma reached out to Rayo. If anyone could stop Synthro's sudden rampage, it would be Rayo. Despite being where the demons roamed on Chroma, Dexlar had one of the largest libraries and most likely contained the type of spells needed for resurrection. Rayo assumed Synthro would head there next and was correct in his assumption. A small hill overseeing Dexlar seemed like the perfect place for someone to drop in, so Rayo waited for Synthro there. Synthro showed up shortly after, demanding Rayo get out of his way, but Rayo could not do it. He could not let Synthro continue down this path. The two legends stood face to face, weapons drawn, and the fate of the world on the line. Okay, that's how that one ends. I could literally just write a book on these two, I think. And I almost did. But once I lost the publisher, I kind of lost the drive to continue writing Soldier's Crest stuff. Oh, you got ads? Did you get cut off? Hold on, I gotta wait. Let me know when your ads are done. Not that you can hear me say that. I'll literally reread this whole thing. It's not that long. I don't get a lot of people like, interested in my stuff that often. I almost drank this whole bottle of water already. I'm gonna have to go up and get another one. Mistral, let me know when you're back. I'll just say it every once in a while. Could still be he or she could still be watching ads. Okay, now you can hear. Okay. Did you miss the tail end of the story, or did you get all the story and then got the ads? Thank you, Kitty. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's very like short because I was planning to do them fantasy short length from the jump. You missed the end. Okay, I'll reread like the last couple of paragraphs. Did you hear the death of Stasia caused an immediate change in Synthro that would last forever? Yeah, like the normal fantasy distractions are about 2 pages longer than this. The Synthro one goes to like 3. It's more like 2.5 pages, not even. When he changed. Okay, when I was talking about instant change. Okay. So I was pretty close to exactly where you got cut off. All right. The death of Stasia caused an immediate change in Synthro that would last forever. It wasn't even a downward spiral or an emotional break. It was an instant change. Like someone flipped a switch and Synthro went from a hero to a monster. In the initial moment of this transformation, Synthro slaughtered the healers watching over Stasia. When the massacre was done, he buried Stasia with the flower. If she could not receive the healing from it, then no one would. I also mentioned that he was a jerk for this, which you probably missed. But because he's the only one who can retrieve the flower, so then he just buries it with his love, and then no one can get it. Yeah, that is a pretty funny time for the ad to pop in. It is interesting though. I do see the similar. Yeah, like he was basically based off Sephiroth because when I was growing up, like that was my favorite villain at the time. So he just kind of became like a different version of him basically in my mind. And that then I started to add like the differences a bit. Um, as the story goes on, he becomes a little less like Sephiroth, but there's still those similarities. Like he has a lot of like mommy issues and stuff like that too. So there, those similarities are always there, but I do try to make him a little different sometimes. Synthro's unhinged rampage would continue as he would attack any locations with libraries or books on Chroma in an effort to find information on how he could bring Stasia back to life. Along the way, when researching these books, Synthro found out that there were. I didn't read this paragraph. It's actually good that you got the ad because I'm pretty sure I didn't read this paragraph before. Along the way, when researching these books, Synthro found out that there were geothermal bombs lying dormant beneath the earth. I definitely didn't read this. If he could not bring Stasia back into the world, then he would at least get revenge on the planet itself. Synthro set out to put a plan in motion to access these dormant geothermal bombs and use them to destroy the world. I completely skipped that paragraph, so good thing we had to go back. Unaware of all of Synthro's plans, the leaders of the kingdoms of Chroma reached out to Rhea. If anyone could stop Synthro's sudden rampage, it would be Rhea. Despite being where the demons roamed in Chroma, or despite being where the demons roamed on Chroma, Dexlar had one of the largest libraries and most likely contained the type of spells needed for resurrection. Rhea assumed Synthro would head there next and was correct in his assumption. A small hill overseeing Dexlar seemed like the perfect place for someone to drop in, so Rhea waited for Synthro there. Synthro showed up shortly after, demanding Rhea get out of his way. Rhea could not do it. He could not let Synthro continue down this path. The two legends stood face to face, weapons drawn and the fate of the world on the line. That's what I love about inspiration, though. It travels from person to person. Yeah, like it basically just makes it easier, like from a writing standpoint for me, to have that like this is the point that this is what I'm shooting for, basically. You know, like the way that Sephiroth made me feel when playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time as a kid is like how I want people to look at Synthro as well. You know, like you could kind of relate to him a little bit sometimes. You understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, he's also a villain. Um, I mean, not that I could really relate to Sephiroth that much as a kid. I probably thought I could, but I mean, like, not really. Thank you, Mr. Roll. I appreciate that. Yeah, I wrote these both with because I had released this. These are characters from A Soldier's Crest, which is the first book I self-published, and then I got traditionally published, and then I lost my publisher. So it's actually not available from anywhere but through me at this point, as I kind of shop it around. So like these two short stories were written a little bit more with like that in mind. Like hopefully people had seen some of our other Soldier's Crest stuff that we posted on the channel and maybe read the books. It would be easier to understand. But the normal stuff we post on Fantasy Distractions is all like for the most part standalone. There's an underlying storyline that goes on throughout the stories on Fantasy Distractions. So stories have like Easter eggs and some connection to each other, but most of them stand alone. So like me mentioning Chroma, like most people won't really understand that. Chroma is like the main continent on Earth because the story is a post-apocalyptic story that has reverted to medieval times. So it actually is like our current Earth in the future. But all of the continents kind of merge and back into one continent called Chroma. And then the outer lands are like the outer islands are not accessible because the water is like raging from this other event that happened on the moon. So there's a lot of backstory missing in these two that you don't really get without that. But the normal fantasy distraction stories we post on YouTube don't really go that way. I was going to ask you, I read the summary on Amazon. What was your inspiration for A Soldier's Crest? Well, um, so I used to write like my own anime stories. They're terrible. I have those. We should read some of those. Yeah, my emotes have two characters that are from a Soldier's Crest. They're both cat girls, like Final Fantasy 11 inspired cat girls because 14 wasn't out yet when I came up with them. A lot of Final Fantasy inspiration here. But yeah, so I used to write like these anime stories, and I wrote like 70 chapters or something. They're terrible. They're absolutely like, I can go back and I read them and I'm like, oh my god, they're so like cheesy 90s anime, which isn't a bad thing in anime, but in written form is not that great. Wait, why have I not heard of these anime stories? Oh, maybe I read them on stream once, but maybe you guys might not have been following me yet. I've read them on stream before. We can read some. No worries. I have some rough draft fanfics from back in the day. Yeah, I mean these are rough. And then as I got older, I was just like, what if I just took it and actually tried to write them in like book form? Because a lot of them were written in um script form, I guess. Like it's very like scene, character, it's not all structured together. So then I decided like, oh, let me write it as a book. But then what ended up happening was I scrapped like the entire story and added a whole bunch of new characters. I think maybe like Synthro, the main character's name is Valak. That stayed. Synthro, Valak, and maybe a couple of like other characters remained. And everything else is different. Like if you read A Soldier's Crest and you read these old stories, they're nothing alike. Let me see if I have them on this computer. Yeah, ASC original. Here it is. Oh my god. These are so bad. Here, let's read the first one. Let's read the first one. We can laugh together. There are some concepts in here that I did keep and that are not bad. I could already look at what the little squiggly lines of what's incorrect are telling me. The grammar is not great. I can already see that. But it's structured like a script. So it's chapter 1, introduction. When I was reading the summary on Amazon, it reminded me of Naruto a little, and I was like, I wonder if he was inspired by. Actually, I've never watched Naruto. Actually, so I used to work at an anime store when I was in like my 20s, and I like early 20s, and while I was working there, it was the era of like the big three, So like you either watched One Piece, Naruto, or Bleach during that time, and some people watched all three, some people only watched a combination, and some people were like diehard Naruto fans, so they would refuse to watch One Piece and Bleach. It was like that was just like kind of what it was at the time. No worries, no judgment. Yeah, I worked at an anime store, and anime was kind of a big inspiration for a lot of the stuff that I write. But I was a Bleach guy. Bleach was my thing. I never watched One Piece. Actually, I watched the One Piece live action, and that's the first time I've ever consumed anything One Piece related. Um, Never watched Naruto or read the manga, and Bleach was just like my thing. So there's a lot of Bleach influence, especially in the original form of this. There's a lot of Bleach influence. You grew up in that era too, yeah. Like that was the best era of anime in my opinion. I don't really watch the new stuff. Some of their like I get turned off by the titles of current anime because some of the titles are like so long for no reason. That immediately turns me off. But I mean, I've watched some of the newer stuff and it hasn't been that bad. I just can't seem to like finish any of it. Like I watched half of Demon Slayer and I didn't finish that. I'm still trying to watch the new Trigun because Trigun's like one of my favorite animes of all time. So I'm still trying to get through the new Trigun. So yeah, but I'm a Bleach guy. When it comes to the big three of that era, Bleach is where it's at. That makes sense now, yeah, because I'm obsessed with like all samurai stuff too. So I had left anime for years, but came back this year, binged and watched so much. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. The problem is like I watch a lot of TV, like normal TV shows, like not non-anime TV shows, I guess, with my parents and my sister, excuse me. And by the time I like sit down on my computer or would be in a scenario where I would just watch anime, I'm normally just gaming. So I I don't really have like a window of opportunity to watch anime. Trigun I've just been trying to like squeeze in here and there because Trigun's one of my favorite ever. Yeah, live action. Thank you. That was a lot easier way to say it. Um I love Trigun too. The remake is all right. I think the second season will be better. I think so too. I'm not enjoying the remake as much as I enjoyed the original. Like even when I go back and watch like stuff from the original, it just doesn't like hit the same. I think they went a little too serious with the remake, and I think that's killing it for me. Like they were like the first like okay, they have less episodes, I guess, to do what they need to do in current seasons of anime, but like I feel like the first 15 or so episodes of the original Trigun is more of like a comedy than it is serious at all. And there are very serious moments, and those serious moments have a bigger impact because majority of the story is funny, up until that point. And then when it starts to get really serious, then it's like crazy, So I don't know. The new series is just like way more serious than I would like it to be. I have a Renji cosplay. I have a metal version of a sword. What? Kitty, you gotta send me a picture of this. Yeah, I think that's my problem with the remake. I'm enjoying it for what it is, but it's not hitting the same as it used to. There's a lot of stuff in Fantasy Distractions that is very influenced by Trigun. We have this character who's like I call him the Starlight Samurai, but he's very Vash inspired. He does a lot of like the way I picture him talking, I can't do it myself. So like I end up voicing him a lot and it doesn't hit the way that I want it to. I picture it like the coming attractions to the episodes. If you ever saw the original Trigun like episode previews, like next time on Trigun, and then it's Vash like doing these little like monologues. That's how I always picture Kai in my head. The Starlight Samurai. That's how I always picture him in my head. That like way that Vash talks during those, because he's like this character that is caught up in a lot of things, very similar to Vash. Like he isn't really a bad guy, but people think he's a bad guy because when he goes to carry out these missions, like cities get destroyed and things happen. He's very Vash inspired. Oh, thank you so much for subscribing, Mr. I appreciate that. It's been a struggle for me to get exposure for the YouTube. I've been trying my best, so I really appreciate any sub that we get. So thank you for that. I'm gonna be doing these streams every Tuesday. That's my plan. But I'm also gonna be streaming like games and stuff throughout the week. So if you watch anything on the Fantasy Distraction channel and you want to come chat about it, I might be live around this time, just gaming, and you could come in and talk to me about it. Trigun's one of the few animes that made me cry. Yeah, I got teary eyed a lot when I watched it the first time. I remember, dude, like, oh my god, original Trigun was amazing. Excuse me. The more you promote, the more people will know. Yeah, I'm trying to incorporate streams and stuff a lot more, um, to get it more exposure because I do like social medias. I like study SEO and all that stuff to try to figure out how to like get it the right tags, promote it correctly. I've tried posting stuff on Reddit, Facebook group pages. Like I'm trying everything to get this out there, and it's really difficult. But I appreciate the sub. Excited for more streams. Yeah, we'll be doing a lot more like this. Wait till we get to the choose your own adventure stuff. I think that stuff's gonna be like primo. Like that stuff's gonna be fun. I'm really excited to dive a little more into that. But in the meantime, let's read some of my terrible writing from back in the day. It's really cheesy. Some parts of it are good, but for the most part, it's cheesy. All right, here we go. Chapter 1 is just called the Introduction. And then there's a little, like, thing that says, the direction we take is a choice that we have made. Wow. Inspiring. All right, I'll try not to just harp on every little thing, but to continue to preach what he has taught us and to await the coming of the Dark Lord. The greatest fighter of our time will appear again, for when the Dark Lord rises, chaos shall follow. And that is from a book called The Disciples of Synthra, the Book of Unforgiving, and then I put like 1622 like it was a Bible verse. And then it just says, intro. The world has changed a lot. The year is 3010. It's been a little over 1,000 years since the nuclear warfare that changed the planet. I mean, this stuff is the premise of A Soldier's Crest for the most part. The few survivors were able to keep the human species going. As far as the survivors know, the world has been limited to a single continent, and resources have limited major improvements to bring the world back to what it once was. People struggle with their everyday lives, and a new threat is brewing on the horizon. Heroes will have to step up and defend the planet, or everything will officially come to an end. All right, so it's very scripty. So I'm going to be like describing scenes like very specifically, not like in paragraph form, I guess. I could already feel the like teen anime character angst in what I just glanced over. All right, a small village is shown. No people are outside. The trees blow in the warm wind. It's summertime, and it's early in the day. The sun scorches the ground. The word chaos is written on a sign near the entrance of the village. Unidentified voiceover. This is it. This is chaos. It's the town I was born in. The town I grew up in. The town that I love. But also the town that hates me. A tall man is shown walking down the dirt road. His hair is short, spiky, and black. He's wearing a red t-shirt with a dragon on the front. Of course he is. With some black shorts and black sneakers. Sneakers, yes. Why not? Appears to be in his 20s. He walks with his hands in his pockets. Oh, let me put my hands in my pockets so we get the full effect. A few people pass by and completely avoid him. Unidentified voiceover. It's a shame. Really, it is. I enjoy living here, but the people despise me. No matter how much I try to help out, no matter how much I show my love for these people, they continue to shun me, avoid me at all costs. Am I really a bad man? A young lady wearing a yellow dress with a yellow hat that has a flower sticking out of it passes by. She tips her hat politely. Young woman. Mornin', Valak. I feel like that's more of like a guy thing, but sure. She walks by quickly. Valak just grins and nods his head. Valak thoughts he's just thinking this. It's funny, really. Some people pretend like they care. Pretend to acknowledge me and say hi to me. And they are quick to talk behind my back. Did you see what he did? Did you see what he was wearing? It was a red dragon on his t-shirt, apparently. Did you see where he was going? I don't do much of anything anymore. I don't wear anything wrong. And I don't go except sneakers and post-apocalyptic setting. And I don't go anywhere interesting anymore. I mean, I guess they could still have some sneakers around, but I just don't get why they talk about me. They don't think I hear them, but I hear them all. I'm going to lose my voice before the stream is over, probably. The young lady stops and stares back at him, almost with fear in her eyes. Valak walks up to a door and stops. He lets out a deep sigh. This is Valak still thinking. It really breaks my heart. He opens the door and walks inside. The store owner reaches for a weapon hidden under his counter, but stops. Store owner. Hey there, Valak. Valak. He walks over and grabs a big loaf of bread. Hey, Tim. Oh, Tim's in here. Tim, are you still in chat? Tim's in. I didn't know Tim was in here. Tim, you look pretty down. Well, more than usual. Valak brings the bread to the counter and places it down. It's nothing. Just feeling a little sick this morning. Tim, I see. Is this it? Want anything special with that? I don't know why I said it like that, but he's just doing normal shopkeeper speak, but I made it dramatic. Valak, a pound of Hillard, a type of beast meat, I put in parentheses, please. Tim, you got it. Tim walks over to prepare the Hillard. Valak reaches into his pocket and pulls out some money. Valak, thoughts. The days seem to grow longer and longer. They get more boring also, not like the old days. I used to be someone special in this kingdom, one of the dragon knights of the Dark Castle. Yeah, the Bawal Empire that's at a soldier's crest was just the unholy army, but before it was the unholy army, it was the Dark Army. They might be on the unholy army at some point in here too. Insert dramaticness. Yeah, you gotta make everything dramatic. It was quite a position to hold. Now I'm the only remaining Dragon Knight, which is also different. In A Soldier's Crest, there's 10 Dragon Knights that the story focuses on. Now I'm the only remaining Dragon Knight, which really doesn't mean much now that there's probably no dragons even left on this decaying planet. I was so young then, but so much happier. That concept stayed because the Dragon Knights of Bawal in A Soldier's Crest, their whole job is to keep the dragons in check. So that whole concept of the Dragon Knights is similar. But yeah. Tim returns and puts the meat down. Valak pays him as he puts his food into a bag. Valak, thanks, man. Tim, no problem. Try to feel better. Valak, yeah, I'll try. Valak walks out of the shop and heads back up the dirt road he came from. There's more people out now, and they all stare at him as he walks. Valak, thoughts. Can't even walk down to the store without people staring at me like I have 4 heads or something. He lets out another sigh as he reaches his front door. He opens it slowly as the people of the town begin to go inside. He turns around and slams the door shut. As he turns back around, he's turning around a lot, he has a look of shock on his face. He quickly puts his hand out, grabbing the handle of a sword sheathed on a counter next to his door. The camera pans to what is distracting him. Standing in his room is a tall, beautiful woman with dark pink hair. She isn't wearing very much clothing, of course, anime. But the clothes she is wearing all seem to be made of some very strong armor. The thing that sticks out most is the fact that she has a pair of black wings. The man next to her is insanely large, wearing a crimson red armor from head to toe. Valak, and who the hell might you two be? Question mark and exclamation mark, of course. Lady with the black wings. Relax. You can take your hand off the handle of your sword. We aren't here to do you any harm. Valak, what do you think you're doing sneaking into my house while I'm out? You almost gave me a heart attack. Mind explaining yourselves? Lady with the black wings. We'll get to that in a moment. Firstly, we know all about you, Valak. Valak, starting to calm down a bit. Why that makes him calm down, I have no idea. Alright, fine. You know my name, so no need for an introduction on my end. How about you two? Lady with the black wings. My name is Raven. This big guy next to me is Excalibur. Excalibur was a joke character that me and my friend made up when we were younger. And I used him for comic relief in this. In regular Soldier's Crest, he's actually one of the villains, and I don't think he has any voice lines. I can't remember. I don't think he has a single voice line. So completely changed his character. Raven is more or less the same. In real Soldier's Crest, she's still there. She still has black wings. Isn't nearly as important to the main story as she is in this. Like she's literally like one of the main supporting characters to Valak in this, and she's like, I don't want to call her like a minor character in A Soldier's Crest, but she's definitely not as important as this. Excalibur, yeah, Excalibur also makes me think of Soul Eater. The Excalibur in Soul Eater is also like comic relief. He calls everybody fool, right? Fool. Or like because I watched both the English and subbed and dubbed. He just goes fool. That was like one of the last animes I think I watched, like before I stopped working at the anime place. Because once I left, like when you work in a store where you sell anime and you're surrounded by people that just talk about anime, you also want a break from anime after a while. Yeah, same. I was singing the song. Yeah, I should rewatch Soul Eater at some point too. I don't think I appreciated it in the moment because I was at the tail end of like my anime obsession, but I need to rewatch that at some point. So good. Okay, where was I? So Excalibur is just laughing. I just put that he's laughing, and then he goes, "Nice to meet you." And then Valak mockingly goes, "Nice to meet you, coming from the near 10-foot man in full red armor who somehow managed to sneak into my house isn't as comforting as I thought it would be." Raven, we call him X for short. Trust me, he means well. Valak, all right, weirdo. All right, weirdo, cut to the chase already. He walks over to a table in the back of one of his rooms and places the bag of food onto it. I don't have all day to listen to you guys talk about your pet names for each other. Raven, right. Well, to make a long story short, we need your help. Valak, my help? With what exactly? Raven, we understand that you're a very skilled soldier and Valak was. Raven, huh? Valak, I used to be a very skilled soldier. I stopped doing that a long time ago. I'm just a normal guy now. Besides, you're dodging my question. What exactly do you need help with? Raven, glaring over at Excalibur, then back at Valak. Well, it's hard to explain, and it may sound far-fetched, but you have to take our word for it. Something extremely bad is going to happen soon, and it may mean the end of this very planet as we know it. Valak, and? What the hell is a guy like me supposed to do about it? Apparently using hell was necessary for me back then. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I wrote like conversation like that. Raven, we need your help preventing what could be the end of the world. I will explain more if you agree to help. Valak, no thanks, girly. Valak is a real jerk in this. No thanks, girly. I told you I'm not a soldier anymore. You can't just expect me to run outside and start playing hero for no apparent reason. Whatever is coming that you're so scared of has nothing to do with me. I blamed my role on this planet a few years ago. See any dragons outside? Raven goes to answer, but Val cuts her off. I didn't think so. He might as well have been a drunk at this point. I know, he's so edgy. This planet is going to die either way, sooner or later. Our parents barely survived what happened to this planet many years ago. We're all the so called lucky ones. But let's face it, this planet will never go back to the way it was. It's just a matter of time before it ends. Raven says, "You're okay with just sitting back and letting that happen more sooner than later?" I've used the wrong than. Like, I didn't use than. It's THEN every time that I've said then. I guess I didn't realize the other one existed. But I need more water because I'm not going to make it through this without squeakiness. I might have a water over there. Hold on. I do not. This one is also empty. Give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna run up and get another bottle of water. Give me 1 sec. Okay. Figured I'd stop in the bathroom while I was up there, so I went to the bathroom real quick. So apparently I drank 2 bottles of water in like an hour. Okay. Yo, Kitty, thank you for gifting a sub to Mistral. Now they won't get ads when I'm reading stuff. I'm gonna... Luna, what's up? Okay, you know... I'm gonna let Glorious finish first because it's mad loud for me. I could imagine cosplaying being expensive. What's up, Luna? Of course, you just come in here and redeem a dab. It's not bad enough that you beat me in TFT all the time. I've actually heard of that My Dress Up Darling thing. I did not know it was about cosplaying, but I guess that makes sense. Anime will take over the world one day. It is pretty mainstream. That's true too. I guess I got a dab real quick. And then Akatsu doubles down. Oh my god. You guys want me to do it here? I have the camera that tracks me now. Would you rather me do it further back, somewhere else? Try swapping Guardians with Sentinels. What do you mean you suck at TFT? I'm pretty sure if we played TFT right now, you would still beat me. Do it here with the tracking? Okay. If anybody hasn't seen this yet in chat, this webcam that I got is awesome. It's a romance anime, but the theme is cosplay in the story, like the main things that bring the couple together. Interesting. I didn't know that. I've seen the name. I haven't seen. I can't even think of what the art looks like. I've probably seen maybe the like cover of it, maybe. So if I go like this, the camera now tracks me, no matter where I go. See my water bottle? You can see my niece's stroller over here somewhere. Part of it. Okay, let's dab real quick. Really need to shave. I just need to shave in general. I'm a mess. All right, here we go. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I probably should have warned Mistral that this is extremely cringe and something that we just do on the channel for some reason. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta do one more. That was a pathetic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. There you go. You happy now? Are you happy now, chat? Okay. I gotta refocus this thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can also make it like zoom in and out with just my fingers. This webcam is awesome. It's probably the best investment that I've made in a long time. Points well spent. Well, you're in luck, Luna and Akatsu. I know Akatsu was watching on the YouTube, I believe. That's where he was lurking. We're currently reading some of my original writing that is just as cringe as those dabs. It actually hasn't even got to like the cringy stuff yet. So right now it's not too bad. It's about to get bad. How long is this? Is the real question. 36 pages? I mean, it goes quicker because it's this is only chapter 1, by the way. It goes quicker because it's script format. Cringe stream, let's go. Do we read the whole thing? Should I read like one of these a week when we do these streams? Okay. We were at Raven saying, you're okay with just sitting back and letting that happen more sooner than later? And Valak says, not necessarily, but like I said, there ain't nothing, sorry, there ain't anything I can do about it, lady. Raven, you have way more potential than you think. You disappoint me, Valak. Valak begins to say something and returns to the main room. When he does, both Raven and Excalibur are gone. Valak, what the? Suddenly, there's a loud noise outside. Valak, what in the world was that? Woman outside, help us, someone, please. I also don't think I ever used a comma. I'm not sure. Oh, I've used some commas. I'm not going to complain if you read more of it. It gets amazing. And by amazing, I mean terrible, but amazing at the same time. Val grabs his sword and rushes outside. There's a lot of people standing around and one woman way out front. Valak rushes through the crowd and into the front. He runs up to the lady. The rest of the people of the town take a few steps back from seeing Valak with his sword. The sword is a magnificent blade. The handle is a crimson red, and the blade itself is a shiny black. It looks like a mixture between your typical katana and your typical sword. Heavy handle and a fine blade. He hasn't used it in many years. Valak grabs the lady by the shoulder. What's wrong? Lady points. That monster has my child trapped. I'm pretty sure I was picturing like a behemoth from Final Fantasy for this part. We're about to find out what I describe it as. Valak looks over to see a very large beast, almost the size of an elephant. Its body is a light blue color. It has horns and nasty sharp teeth. It has an extremely thick and long tail that is sharp at the end like a scorpion. The child is backing away in the corner of the village, shaking in fright. Valak looks around and finds a decent-sized rock. He tosses it the monster's way. It whips around quickly, its tail nearly hitting the child. What's up, Maddie? Typical katana, typical sword. Katana is a type of sword, though. Yeah, I know. Tell that to high school me, maybe? I don't know how old I was when I wrote this. What's up, Maddie? We're reading some of my old incredible writing. Valak, pointing his sword at the beast with a sadistic smirk on his face. Hey, why don't you pick a fight with me instead? 2 exclamation marks and a question mark for this one. The beast becomes enraged and charges at Valak. He jumps to the side and in midair cuts one of the beast's horns right off. Blood shoots out where the horn used to be. I never put used out any of these either. Every time I say used, it's actually just use. So horn used to be. Even though there should be a D on the other. To be as this only makes the monster more angry. It swipes at Valak, and he just barely jumps back in time. It rushes forward, trying to smash him with his remaining horn, but Valak puts his sword up sideways and blocks the attempt. Yeah, 2 exclamation marks and a question mark. It is funny when you go back and read your old work. I do that from time to time, yeah. It probably should have been more like what Maddie typed than how I typed it. The beast backs up and tries to ram Valak again, but he sidesteps this time. It immediately swipes at him again with insane speed, but Valak is able to duck in time. Valak is now under the chest of the 4-legged beast. He takes his sword and points it upward, jamming the point of his blade directly into the beast's chest. Blood pours out as the monster roars and shakes violently for a good minute or so. As Valak continues to hold onto the handle of his sword, he's lifted up into the air as the beast goes onto its hind legs, letting out ear-piercing wails of agony. Finally, it goes back onto 4 legs as Valak's sword is still sticking out of its chest. Once Valak is able to reset his footing, he pushes off the ground, pushing his blade farther into the beast. The beast lets out one more final roar of pain and breathes its last. It falls over in a heap, bleeding tremendously. Valak pulls his blade out and wipes the sweat and blood from his forehead. Sorry, I get like very nasally sounding when I talk a lot like this, so I apologize. He turns around as the people of the village look on in shock and amazement, but also in horror. It isn't so much that they hate Valak, it is the fact that they fear him and what he is capable of. Immediately the poor immediately immediately the poorer folk of the village run over and poke the beast to make sure it's dead, then begin carving up its remains in hope of selling the meat for profit. Valak shrugs it off. The child who was in danger runs and hugs his mother. The poorer folk. Okay. Maybe I should pre-read this and see if anything's gonna get me canceled. I don't think so. The poorer folk is probably as bad as it gets. Lady, thank you so much, Valak. You saved my son in this village. I don't care what anyone says or thinks of you. That was an amazing thing you did for me and my family. Valak looks down at his sword, then up at her. It was no problem. He's very edgy, so I need to make him more edgy. Clapping is heard. Valak turns around to see Raven and Excalibur. Excalibur, not bad. Raven, quite an amazing feat there, Valak. It's funny, though. I thought you didn't want to help people for no reason. She smiles. I hope that look on your face means you're rethinking what we asked of you. You can help save this world, Valak. Please join us. Valak, you set this up so I would prove myself to you? Question mark and an exclamation mark. Raven, not exactly, but you were pretty good out there. Even you must have enjoyed that. Excalibur. Yeah, he enjoyed that. Excalibur, you see, Valak, you're a fighter, just like us. Why stay cramped up in this village all the time when you could go out and make something of yourself? You could be the second best fighter on the planet, easily. Valak, why settle for second best? He laughs. Either way, you both interrupted me right before dinner, and I'm starving. How about you come back home with me? Let me eat and get a good night's rest, and I'll give you my answer in the morning. Raven, sounds good. And it sounds like an anime intro, yeah. Raven, sounds good. Excalibur. Valak? Valak, what? Excalibur, where would I sleep? Your house is so small. Valak stares at Excalibur with a dumb look on his face. Why me? To be continued. End of chapter 1. I mean, there's a lot more in this one. It's 36 pages, so I don't how many chapters of this do you guys want to do? And that was the end of chapter 1. The next chapter mentions a character named Harley that I completely scrapped for the actual Soldier's Crest. Because she is just like a Harley Quinn ripoff, basically, and but she was inspired by the character from Chrono Cross, who I think is also named Harley and also is a jester. Chrono Cross. I think her name is Harley in there too. Oh, it's not spelt like Harley Quinn. It's Harle, no Y. Yeah. Yeah, he was just like, why me? It's pretty funny. Yeah, that character was completely scrapped. The Harley character. Actually, the name of this chapter is even called Paths Cross. Like, there's cross in the name of the episode, chapter, whatever. Okay, so I literally end of chapter 1, and it says chapter 2, Paths Cross. The text explaining the scene says the episode opens with Valak sitting at the table in his home. So I'm like literally torn between if it's a story like chapter like book style, and then I'm also calling them episodes. Yeah, when inspiration turns into a copy paste part of the process. Yeah, it's I really liked that character, and I was probably playing Chrono Cross around the time I wrote this. That would be a longer time ago though. And I feel like this was like I probably started writing it in high school, but Chrono Cross was when did that come out? Episode 2, Chapter 2. Chrono Cross was released on the PlayStation on November 18, 1999 in Japan. Oh, and August 15, 2000 in North America? Really? So maybe I just like continued to like that character for a while or used her as inspiration for that character and then that's a long time ago. Came out in 2000. That's a long time ago. It's nice to look back at our roots and sometimes there's some hidden gems. Yeah, I mean, this one is just I'm pretty sure I've read through. I don't know if I've read through the whole thing on stream, but I know I've read a couple of chapters of these on stream, and some of them are interesting. There's some very anime characters in this too. Let me skim this one. This is just introducing a lot of other characters and stuff. Oh, Synthro just is in this next chapter. He's not even in the first Soldier's Crest book. They like mention him. But because of the way that I restructured the story, he doesn't even show up. Only the first chapter is in the first chapter I made everybody's name in bold. And I only did that for the first chapter. I don't do it again. Chapter 2 is like about 4 pages, maybe, not even. Let's do one more and then I'll talk about the choose your own adventure thing. And then maybe we'll wrap it up there. The stream isn't gonna be very long. I gotta try to eat something because I kinda had like a stomach thing the last couple of days. We had a lot of like really good food for New Year's and I didn't really get to eat it. And now I'm like starving. Yeah, we can do maybe we do one more of these and then I want to talk about choose your own adventure thing that I think over the next couple of weeks we're gonna start writing. I might sit down for this though. I've been standing for this entire stream. Yeah, like 2.5 hours. Okay, so this is another cool thing that I got. We're about to go on a little ride, chat. Okay, I haven't seen what this looks like when my stream is on, but I got a standing desk, right? But I like preset the settings for it. So if I just press this button, it should make the desk go down. Hopefully it works. Otherwise, I'm gonna be really embarrassed. I use this like preset setting to make it the standing form for the stream. So we'll see. I should probably make this track me for that. Yeah, we're going on a ride, Jet. The camera keeps tracking me, which is good. It's pretty trippy from my perspective. Because of the tracking camera, that's actually perfect for stream though. Because like it never loses focus on me, even though we're going down. That was pretty trippy though. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It's pretty weird. Okay, we're back to normal. Okay. It's pretty weird, but pretty cool at the same time. We just got a bunch of little like gadgets and stuff to toy around with now. This is you could see that far when I'm in this screen? I guess so. Because normally I have everything like cut off when we're gaming. Oh no, it's tracking me again. My head was sideways. Okay. That was weird. Okay. Anyway, that was an experience. All right. Let me see. New toys, yeah. The camera and the desk. I mean, the new computer, obviously, and mic. But all right. Well, let's do one more of these silly chapters, and then we'll talk about. I want to talk about the choose your own adventure stuff. All right, chapter 2, Paths Cross. The episode opens up with Valak sitting at the table in his home. We just sat. Raven is sitting across from him, and Excalibur is standing up, leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. Okay, Valak. Okay, so I finally made my decision. Raven. Oh, well, what's it going to be, Valak? Valak, I will help you guys out. There's a dot, dot, dot. I will help you guys out. Raven looks relieved. What do I have to do? Raven. Well, first things first, have you ever heard the name Harley? Valak. Heard the name, but I doubt we're thinking of the same person. Raven. Well, she was a famous dancer, but the thing was she was cursed when she was young. Her face permanently looks as if she had her face painted white, or that she was extremely pale. You see why this character was cut. Other than this feature, she was a very beautiful young lady. No one really knows how or why she was cursed, or who did it. It's a very sad story. Are you Valak? Kind of. So there's some backstory to that too. That I guess I never told since you and Akatsu followed me either. So my original plan was I was only going to stream NHL. So I was only going to stream the hockey game. It was going to be a hockey based stream. I wasn't going to do anything but stream NHL, and that was going to be it. I decided to do a alternate reality of a Soldier's Crest. This was before I started streaming. Before I started streaming, I did an alternate reality Soldier's Crest where the main character was Val Starlight, and he was basically like a multiversal, like different version of Valak from a different universe, different timeline, different kind of like world. And he was called Val Starlight, and he was like a star hockey player instead. And like Dawn Windar was also, she was something else. Like they all basically had names that were started with the same letter. So Valak's last name begins with S in a Soldier's Crest, so he was Val Starlight. Dawn Windar was like, I think she was like Darlene White or something like that. I don't know. But yeah. Cough, brave, cough, yeah. So that was the plan. So that's why I'm Val Starlight, because I was making my Twitch name the character name, and that was gonna be like the character that I played in NHL. So like when I do Be a Pro, it was gonna be Val Starlight. When I did like online gaming, my name was gonna be Val Starlight, stuff like that. So that's why I'm Val Starlight. It is technically a take on Valak's name, but it's not this Valak, I guess, or a Soldier's Crest Valak. It's like an alternate Valak. But that's where that comes from. A little backstory on that too. Valak and ... question mark. What does this have to do with me exactly? Raven, our mission, which is now your mission, is to find Harley as soon as possible. That's all I can tell you for now. Valak, that's it. That's it? We just need to find this girl? Raven, for now, that's all we need to do. No one has seen her in a very long time, but according to our sources, she will be performing at 2 events coming up soon. One will be at the Blue Capital. Yeah, they like instead of a Zuldra, it was just blue. The Blue Army. And the other will be at the very large meeting being held at the Siphon Castle in a few months, when the large meeting between all of the armies will be held. We will try to intercept her when she goes to the Blue Army capital, but in case we fail there, we can always have a second chance at the larger meeting. You make me want to pick up writing again? You should, sir. I told you if you want to write any fantasy distraction stuff, or help me write any of it, you could. Yeah, a lot of stream lore tonight. A lot of lore in general. Valak, sounds easy enough, but why did you need a skilled soldier for that exactly? Raven, well, let's just say we're not the only ones looking for Harley. I'll leave it at that. Valak, very secretive for someone looking for my help. Raven, fine, I will tell you one more thing, Valak. Valak, what is it? Raven, if you ever encounter a man named Synthro, do not fight him by any means. Valak has a weird look on his face. That's how we end that scene. I'm sure my stuff isn't good enough. I'm sure it's fine. You'll have to show me sometime. Scene switches to an outside view of a large army marching. They all have white, shiny armor on. The soldiers keep marching towards a black castle. Two of the soldiers stand out. They aren't marching with the other soldiers, but instead standing at what seems to be a camp they set up. They begin talking. Prince Dario. Looks like this will finally be the day we put an end to Rebels' shenanigans. Don't you agree, Max? Max, it sure does seem that way for now, but I wouldn't rule out the Dark Army just yet. Rebel, Prince Dario, and Max are all in a soldier's crest. Just not exactly like this. And instead of, I'm assuming they're the Holy Army in this. They are Sanctivale. And the Dark Army is the Bawal Empire in a soldier's crest. Prince Dario, you're our greatest soldier, Max. Surely you can see that we've achieved victory already. They're done. Nothing left. Their numbers are low and we are marching right on their doorstep. Now go. It's time to put an end to this. Max, yes, your highness. Max walks off. Scene switches to inside the Dark Army castle. The king, Rebel, is pacing back and forth. A soldier approaches. Soldier, sir, things aren't looking good for us. The enemy has breached the gates and is marching up here. Rebel, things aren't looking good. It's in quotation. Things aren't looking good. Don't you think I could see that, you imbecile? Get me the keys to the dungeon, now. Soldier, the dungeon? Sir, you're not thinking of doing what I think. Rebel, cutting the soldier off. Give me the keys. There's no options left. Soldier runs and gets the keys. Rebel goes down a flight of stairs to where they keep the prisoners. He approaches a very dark cell. You can only see the silhouette of a man sitting down. A sword is next to him, leaning up against the wall. He sits there with his arms on his legs and his head back against the wall. Rebel, we need to talk. The man slowly sits forward. Rebel, please, you must hear me out. The Holy Army, yeah, they were the Holy Army, I guess. The Holy Army is marching onto our doorstep. We will lose if you don't help us. The man stands up. His height is roughly 6'6". He has a pretty decent build for someone who's been in prison for a while. He moves a bit forward into the light. His hair is long and red. Oh yeah, he has red hair instead of like, Sephiroth's like silvery gray. Rebel, okay, fine. I didn't want to stoop to this level, but I have no choice. Would you help if I told you I knew where to find Harley? Man in prison, you're lying. Rebel, no, I'm not. Sources say they've seen her, and I know where she's going. I'll tell you if you help us. Man in prison, tell me now, and if I find out you're lying, I'll destroy this army myself. Rebel, calm down. I'll tell you after you deal with my little problem here. Now what do you say? The man grabs his sword. Rebel, perfect. Opens the cell. She's heading to the Blue Army capital in about a week from now. Man in prison, what makes you think I won't kill you now? Rebel, even you have more pride than that. Also, I'll tell you more exacts on her whereabouts and where she's going after you deal with the Holy Army. The man walks off. Rebel returns to his throne room and takes a seat on his throne. He begins to laugh like a maniac, then stands back up, still laughing. Normal king stuff. Rebel, what an amazing twist of fate, and then it has written out, ha 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 ha. How many ha's? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 ha 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 ha's. Now, Max, let's see how you and your army handle this one. You may have God on your side, but now you face the greatest fighter in the world, the man who has slain over 3,000 men by himself, the true holder of the Soul Taker. That's the name of the sword in this. Synthro. That's the reason I stopped by your stream. You tagged writing, and I thought that was unique. I've been to live stream where we journaled together, but I haven't been to one discuss writing, and I thought that would be so cool. It's funny that you wrote it as journal together. My choose your own adventure thing I was planning to do. The title of it is Journey Together. So it's pretty close. But yeah, I always tag my streams with writing, but I probably shouldn't do that because we haven't done a writing stream in a really long time. But now I made it like a New Year's resolution kind of thing that hopefully I keep up with. Every Tuesday we're gonna be doing these type of streams. So yeah, I'm happy to be back to it. We used to do writing streams every once in a while. I think like actual writing live makes me less productive, and I'm usually not happy with the quality of the writing that I make when I stream it. Like I used to like sit there and write stories while I was live, and I always felt like it wasn't coming out as good. So I think something like this where we just kind of like recap what we're doing on the Fantasy Distraction channel. Working on the Choose Your Own Adventure thing is a little different. Because that's something that I wouldn't mind if we wrote that together because it's designed to be like a thing you could do with your community on Twitch. So having feedback from viewers actually helps that. But just like writing my own Fantasy Distraction stuff, it made me like worse, I feel. Yeah, we've been playing way too much League of Legends. Another New Year's resolution is I want to stream that either never again or less. Yeah, because journaling is different from writing, like the craft of it. Yeah, it's journal just straight up journaling is something I haven't done in a very long time. But I used to just like write my like the fantasy distractions like there. I think number 15. One of our very early on ones, I think 15 and maybe 16, I wrote entirely live on Twitch. And 15 I was really happy with, but 16, like whenever I go back and like listen to that one or read that one, I feel like it wasn't as good. And I think it's because I was streaming it. And like I couldn't just like sit down and like focus on it. I felt like I still needed to like entertain. And then if people make suggestions, like they're good, but it ruins my flow sometimes. Whereas with the Choose Your Own Adventure thing, it's going to be different. Like input is going to be beneficial because it'll make it more interesting if people play it later or we play it together. We can look back and be like, oh yeah, that was funny. You know what I mean? And maybe I could like tag it on Google Docs where like I could put who suggested it. So that way whenever we go back and we like play it or look back at that, we could be like, oh yeah, like, you know, Mistral suggested that this happens, and it'll be in there. And then when I share, hopefully with other streamers, you know, they can see that as well. Be cool, I think. All right, where was I? Scene switches back outside the castle. There are numerous Holy Army soldiers now ready to practically breach the castle doors. In the back of this group of soldiers is Max, marching along with them, watching for any possible ambushes. The soldiers stop, lined up in front of the doors. Yeah, I think it'll be really fun if we could pull it off. I had this idea like a long time ago, and I started it. I'll show you guys like the base of it when we're done with this, and you'll see what I'm like going for. Holy Army soldier number 1. You open the door. One of the soldiers steps forward to open the door, but stops short when the door opens on its own. All of the soldiers grab their weapons and raise their shields, but nothing happens right away. Everything is silent. Time passes, and finally someone emerges from the doors. It is the man that Rebel had released from prison. His sword isn't drawn. He just stands there with his hands on the handle of his blade. With his hand on the handle of his blade. Holy Army soldier number 1. Who in the world is that? Holy Army soldier number 2. It can't be. The soldier looks horrified. Soldier number 1. Spit it out. You know this man? Soldier number 2. Only the legends surrounding him. This man is Synthro. Many say he's the devil himself. Soldier number 1. You are a Holy Army soldier. Start acting like one. This is just one man. We outnumber him by at least 400 men. Synthro disappears. Very, very Bleach, very anime. I don't know what you're so. He reappears right in front of the soldier. This time his sword is drawn. The soldier's eyes widen. Worried about. Synthro stabs the soldier directly through the chest. A huge gash opens and blood shoots out. The soldier's eyes turn black. This symbolizes the leaving of one's soul from their body, because his sword is called the Soul Taker, of course. The soldier slumps over. The other soldiers take a step back. Synthro wastes no time, however, and begins to cut his way through all of the soldiers. He slices completely through one of them, turns around and stabs another one straight through. The soldiers outnumber him greatly, but can't even land a single hit. Synthro moves like a ghost on the battlefield. Most can't even see him. And the ones who finally do see him come to the shocking conclusion that it's too late. Someone comes up behind him and brings their sword down overhead. Synthro quickly blocks it with his sword and slices the soldier across the chest. Another soldier takes the opportunity to attack Synthro from behind. Synthro disappears again and appears behind the man, stabbing him in the back. This is all very like Bleach inspired. Or even Dragon Ball Z. A lot of like disappearing and reappearing behind people. He quickly turns back around and slices the arm of one soldier completely off before stabbing him in the chest. He continues to demolish the entire Holy Army single-handedly. After minutes of battling and dominating the battle, finally there is nothing left but limbs, soulless bodies, and blood. Synthro sheaths his sword and begins to walk back into the castle. The sound of clapping stops him. There's a lot of like people being interrupted by clapping, too. Max, impressive. I heard stories of you, but was starting to believe they weren't real. Looks around. I can see now that you are indeed real. But I was afraid of some sort of backup plan or ambush, so I didn't send in the best of the best. I also decided to take a back seat and witness just what it was, if anything. I never expected it to be you. I also never expected you to look so normal. Stories usually have you with horns and a devil's tail. Synthro smirks. Looks can be deceiving. Max, well, whatever. Well, whatever. We'll save disappointments for later. He draws his sword. Are you ready to do battle with someone worthy? He lifts his blade up. I am Max Alexian, head commander of the Holy Army. I will defeat you, Synthro. To be continued. End of chapter 2. Max is like super quiet and to himself and hardly has like any lines in the real Soldier's Crest. He's like kind of a jerk. Everybody's just kind of a jerk in this compared to the actual book. Like he sent in weaker soldiers to die. They're the Holy Army. He sent in weaker soldiers just in case. All right. So maybe we'll do more of that. I gotta remember that I'm gonna leave myself a note. Gotta remember we're on chapter 2 for next week. All right. So let me see. Let me capture this so I could show you guys. You're welcome. You are welcome. Let me see here. Let me just close some of the spoilery soldiers, fantasy distraction stuff real quick. That was entertaining. Episode 2, chapter 2. Yeah. The next one's just called chapter 3. No episode mentioned at the beginning of that one. Let me capture this real quick. Do I have a separate writing thing? I do not. I used to on OBS. I probably don't have one here. Just give me 1 second to set this up. I don't know. Is this even going to be readable? Hold on 1 sec. I will. Can you guys make out any of this? Let me see how it looks on. Cause I'm in studio mode on. I'm in studio mode on OBS, so it looks smaller to me. Oh yeah, you can see it. Does it have when I last edited it? It will on the other screen. Hold on. Looks fine? Okay, good. Give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna swap back to the screen. I don't want to like spoil anything. It's silly because like we don't have a lot of viewers or whatever. I just don't want to spoil any of my Google Docs stuff. I don't want you guys to see all my like, you know, Care Bear fan fiction. I was trying to think of something funny or like weird, like hentai related or something, but I couldn't. Do I have when I edited this last? Okay, the last time I modified this was March 8th, 2022. So I've had this rolling around in my head for a while, and you'll see how little of it is done, but the premise and the promise and potential of it is pretty high. So this has been from March 8th, 2022 was the last time I worked on this. Tentacle fanfics, yeah. I don't want you guys seeing all that. You guys aren't ready for that, all right? The usual. You guys aren't ready for that. Okay, so Fantasy Distraction Journey Together #1. I guess I was planning to do more than one of these. Introduction to Fenrir. So the intro is very for the first one it's very Dungeons and Dragons-y, I guess. So if you've listened to Fantasy Distractions or even if you haven't, we have this town called Vorpal, and through the stories and stuff, Vorpal always seems like the stereotypical like where adventurers go to meet for a Dungeons and Dragons campaign to me. Like that's how I've always pictured it. So I thought it was like the perfect way to start something like this. You should do more than one. I mean, I'm trying to make it where like the trick to this is going to be trying to make it where one playthrough is about an hour, right? So that way, like, let's say I give this to other streamers to use on their stream, right? Or let's just say we're playing. Let's say we're playing, right? I want it to be designed in a way where you can like do a playthrough and pick like other choices and stuff, and then do a second playthrough on the same stream. Like I don't want one playthrough to be like your entire stream. You know, like for me, I stream like typically like 4 to 5 hours normally. So like I wouldn't want one playthrough to be 4 hours. You know, like we could do that maybe later if people give us feedback and it's like, oh, we want these to be longer. But I just think like an hour is good, you know? So like once I can figure out how long like an hour playthrough, like we might have to test it on stream a couple of times. Once I figure out like the length we need for like an hour playthrough, that'll probably be like the average. So I've designed it where there's 4 different characters to start, I believe. So at most, like if you did every single character, like a playthrough of every single character, then it would be like your whole stream. Like hopefully people are enjoying it that much that they want to do something like that. But after the first one is done and hopefully we're sharing it or we're just playing it together on my stream or however we end up doing it, you know, then if I get enough feedback and people like it and we want to do more and people want them longer or maybe more choices for like characters or stuff like that, you know, then we'll take it from there. This is a very like base experimental idea that I thought of barely 2 years ago almost, and I figured these streams were a good chance for us to work on it and get it off the ground. So we'll see how it goes. In other words, I have bare bones, bare minimum done for this, but so this is Fantasy Distraction Journey Together #1, Introduction to Fenrir. The ever-changing planet of Fenrir is full of mysteries. A lot of those mysteries began not that long ago, in the fishing town known as Vorpal, said to be blessed by Morska, the mermaid goddess herself. Who's on my shirt, by the way. This is our Morska t-shirt. Vorpal has thrived throughout the years on Fenrir and has been host to the beginning of many adventures. A hub of sorts for Fenins, Fenrir's humans, and all other races, ethnicities, and creatures. The main attraction in Vorpal these days is a spot that acts as both an inn and a pub, a building known as the Sea Tides. We have a lot of fantasy distraction stories that revolve around the Sea Tides, too. That's where our journey through Fenrir together begins. So now is our first choice. So, choice number 1 is the character you're going to play. I worked on very little of Lydia. So a female Fenin pirate, which is basically just like a human pirate, named Lydia. A male Fenin mage named Doran. A female orc rogue / thief named Roselle. And a male goblin merchant named Enin. So the Enin playthrough is going to be like the humorous, like funny stuff. Like we could get real weird and real crazy with that one. The other ones I don't think I really put too much thought into. I also kind of pictured where like the male goblin would be his story would start like outside of the pub, not inside, because he's a merchant. So maybe he's like outside like selling stuff. And that's where we would pick up what his story. The other one's probably just within the pub in some degree, but I pictured it where like some of their stories might overlap or they'll like interact with each other. But that's going to take a lot of weaving things together. You sold me on the Goblin Merchant. I mean, we could always do the Goblin Merchant first and come back to the other ones. So yeah, the way that it'll work is Lydia's the only one that I started writing for because I was just going in order. There's no real reason why I picked to work on Lydia first. So then, like, if you're playing on like your stream or we're playing together, right? Like, so let's say choice number 1, we do like a poll. People vote. They want to play Lydia, right? So we pick Lydia. So now I control F, and it should be 1.L, and that brings us to the next page. That would start Lydia's story. And then we go. Lydia wasn't from the main continent on Fenrir, but instead came from the land's west, a desert continent called Sabia. She landed on Fenrir just a few days prior after being thrown overboard by her own crew. The squabble that led to their betrayal fresh in Lydia's mind. She knew for sure they didn't believe her to still be alive. That's something she could eventually use to her advantage if opportunity presented itself. Unfortunately for her, she had no means in which to get a ship, and the few coins that clung to her pockets were just enough to get her the ale sitting on the table in front of her. She grabbed the handle of the stein in front of her and took a swig. She had been to the main continent a few times with her crew, but she usually sent them on land to handle whatever business they needed. Perhaps it was her not wanting to get involved that started her crew down the path of mutiny. She took another drink as she surveyed the patrons in the Sea Tides that day. Mostly Fenins with a few orcs and the rare goblin. Nothing out of the ordinary. That was like set up for the other characters, right? So like we have the orc rogue, the goblin. I mean, he's supposed to be outside, but Nothing out of the ordinary and nothing that impressive. As her eyes locked with the woman behind the bar serving drinks, a voice brought her attention forward again. This character behind the bar would probably be Desiree. We have stories about Desiree. She's like the most popular barmaid in all of Vorpal. First time in Vorpal, asked the man. Lydia had to look pretty far up to look at the man's face. He had a grizzly brown beard, with strands of gray and similar hair underneath, a black hood that attached to a cloak making its way down, almost touching the floor. Not necessarily, replied Lydia. I've been around the docks once or twice. Lydia's eyes followed the man's hand as it emerged from the inner workings of the cloak and found its way to the chair across from hers. Do you mind? He asked, a firm grip on the top of the chair. Now we have our second choice. Choice number 2, Lydia minds. Lydia does not mind. So now, in my head, I was like, if the chat doesn't like this guy for whatever reason, whatever happens, happens, If the chat does like this guy or lets him sit down, he probably becomes like a companion of hers throughout the story. So like already we have like this major choice. Like you're basically determining whether this guy becomes like a mainstay character or she just like beats him up in a bar brawl or something. So you can see where this could be like very interesting, but also will be a lot of work for me. I'm also hoping that as we write it, like we get more people that actually watch the stream because it's gonna be hard to do these like choices without a lot of people in chat, or at least like we need people actually like talking and paying attention to the stream, I guess. Um, when we're playing, but when we're just creating it, like hopefully while we're creating it, people come in and give input and stuff, and then like those are the people we can play with. You want to play? For now, I honestly have no idea if I even continued this. I did not. So, good thing I wasn't like throwing up a poll right now because we have nothing to go to. But yeah, that's all I wrote so far. It's very bare bones. What happened was I came up with the idea and I started working on it, and then I think that's when we started planning the stuff for season 2. So I started writing the season 2 stuff at that point, and I put this on the back burner. It's a really interesting concept. Like you said, with more people, there could be some crazy ideas. Yeah, like if we're all just kind of like brainstorming, because we did that once before. I wonder if I still have that. Hold on. Hold on a second. We were one time on my stream, we were brainstorming an RPG Maker game. Do I still have this? I mean, I still have it. It's just a matter of if it is. I mean, I can't imagine I would do it anywhere other than Google Docs. Give me a second. If I can find this, you can see some of the crazy stuff that we can manage to put together just brainstorming ideas on stream. Oh man, where is this thing? So the funny thing about the RPG Maker thing was we brainstormed all of the ideas, and I spent no time actually learning how to use RPG Maker. So we had all of the ideas. I just wasn't executing them because we spent so much time on the ideas and not enough time on just like making the game that it ended up just never happening. I don't even know. Maybe under here. RPG Maker. Here we go. Stream game. Oh god. Okay. Stream game ideas. New viewers who want to participate get included in the story immediately, no matter what is happening other than a fight of some kind. It makes things super awkward. So that was like, I think we were going to have like a redeem. It was like a certain amount of points to redeem. And then if you redeem them, we just put you in the story no matter what is happening. You just get added to the story. Need stipulations for joining the game. Channel points, probably less than an hour's worth of channel points for cameo. So basically, like, even if you didn't want to be in the game, you could just be like immediately dropped in as a cameo. So it's already like insane. More than an hour worth of points for recurring a character. I'm an ultimate optional boss with dialogue that involves ... exclamation mark and ... question mark. We have a ... emote because when I play RPG games and they use ... a lot, I just say it out loud. So that's why that was the thing. Goya, who's one of our top contributors, he is named Goya Forgotten to Time, all one word. I could show you guys this actually. That sounds fun too. Yeah, that's the ... emote. Goya Forgotten to Time, all one word. Boss that is late and bad with time. Empty boss room. You fight him in the hallway just after the boss room. You get to loot the treasure before you even fight him because he's late to getting to the boss room. Potentially a moment where he's early for once, and is either in the room prior to the room he's supposed to be in looking for the main character and crew, or fell asleep because he got there too early and you fight someone else. Afterwards, you leave dungeon via warp of some kind, and there's a cutscene that involves Goya forgotten to time, waking up wondering where everybody went. Late one time because he got stuck in a drive-through, but the world doesn't really have fast food or cars. That was provided by. See, I was already doing this concept provided by Tim and Jays. I would use Twine. Twine is an app that allows you to create text-based games. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm sorry. Or is it like Oira Mui? Please tell me how to pronounce it correctly. That's a good idea. I've never even heard of that actually. I'll write that down. I'll check that out off stream. And maybe we can do something like that. Can I do like a choose your own adventure on there kind of thing? Oiram. Oiram. Okay. Oiram. I don't remember that. Character often out of breath, provided by Tim, all of us. Late because of the drive-through, yep. Goya Forgotten to Time's boss is District Manager Karen. She shows up to evaluate his performance because of reports of repeated tardiness. He has dinner for breakfast and breakfast for dinner. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so that's why I save it for last. That it was an idea provided by Goya himself. Assist on dialogue from Tim. Tim was very involved in this. Yep, you can create a character. Okay, interesting. I might check that out. There was something else that somebody suggested to me once, but I can't remember the name, that lets you do like branches. I think it was Spartan who told me about that. But basically you can do like branches. So what we could do is like have the storyline and then have a branch into the choices. That's something to look at also. I'm just the most familiar with Google Docs because that's where I write all the fantasy distraction stuff. So that's just where my mind goes. But I will definitely check out Twine, and I'll check out. I think I have the other thing Spartan suggested installed on my old computer. Inkle is more involved. I'll write that one down. I'm going to check out all these. Thank you so much for these suggestions. Oiram. I'm going to just say your name a lot so that I remember it. Twine and Inkle are the top two. Okay, I've never even heard of those before, so I'll definitely check those out. All right, this says main party with an exclamation mark for some reason. Main party! All right, Aiden is the main character. Pick up lines for new characters every time. You must be experience points because I want to be grinding you for hours. Yeah, so Aiden comes up with these a lot when he comes in my chat. Hey, John/Atticus, can I see all of you turn Super Saiyan Kappa Pride? Do you like tofu? I do too, but with a CK at the end. I don't remember this at all. Fun fact, there are 206 bones in the human body, but I wouldn't mind having a 207th. I have compact mirror in my pocket. Do you see yourself in my pants? That's probably supposed to be like a compact mirror. Play the game so you know what they're capable of. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to do that for sure. I actually like playing text-based games, so I'll just find a couple that look interesting and go from there. Did you just throw water at me because you're making me wet? Owing to police officer soldier character, if I tell you that I have an explosive device in my underwear, would you be required to take a look? I'm pretty sure all of these were suggested by Aiden. I don't remember writing any of these, and I definitely don't remember the tofu one. More police. I'm gonna go shoplift so you'd have an excuse to fuel me up. Concept of magic, paint, runes. Paint equals magic. Perhaps magic in this world comes from paint/art provided by Aiden, assist by me. So yeah, Aiden's an artist, so his character was gonna use like paint and stuff. Starting weapon, my first paintbrush. And the description should be a basic brush from an art set meant for children. Surprisingly, it's good at blending, so even adults use it. Also provided by Aiden. Those remind me of Night at the Roxbury. Oh my god, the Night at the Roxbury is so good. I haven't watched that movie in a while. Or seen an SNL skit of it in a while. And I watch old SNL skits sometimes. I haven't seen that in too long. Second weapon, fan brush. A brush with bristles spread apart, allowing for seamless blending. Ultimate weapon, the Master's Touch. A paintbrush that makes you feel like an expert painter from just holding it. It's rumored that this brush belonged to a Renaissance painter, writer, and inventor. Only a hot NPC. NPC asks, what do you do? Aiden says, artist. NPC says, I don't have a creative bone in my body. To which Aiden asks, do you want one? Class name ideas, artist, rune painter, Bob Ross reference. I mean, of course. That was provided by Monster Word. Backfire scene. Aiden purposely baits someone into calling security on him, but security ends up being female. Oh, Aiden. John is a musclehead character who says dumb stuff and wants to break through walls and break things in general 99% of the time. Says dumb things constantly that people ignore and roll their eyes often about. Name Atticus Bartholomew? Dubois. O'Malley Esquire. I don't know how much of this was provided, but it was John's idea to be a musclehead character who says dumb stuff, I think. I would not do that to John. Moment when it's Addie's time to shine, and he completely fails and acts different when it's really obvious he should be punching, smashing things differently. Sorry, John. Use power up for Super Saiyan like power up. Yan fly extension lets you put these effects on. Okay, somebody must have told me RPG Maker can do this, so I just left myself a note. Oh, Molly? Like Molly? Or would that still be pronounced Mally? Jays is a Sid-esque pilot, driver, etc. getaway driver. License plate says Mario Cars. Provided by Jays Tim for license plate. MP NMU, please. Armor is made of salvaged airship ship parts that crashed or sunk. That's actually like a cool concept that I'm surprised I haven't seen much before. Best armor for Jay's side quest where you gotta crash the best airship ever made. Tie in Bezos Mars ship crash. I guess that was a thing that must have happened around whenever we did this. I didn't look at what when the last time was we edited this. October 22nd, 2019 was the last time we edited this. Our buddy Flo, different flows. Flo, factual Flo. Oh yeah, Flo just wanted to be a character that shows up randomly, that has different names every time you meet him. So he was Flo, factual Flo, contractual Flo, punctual Flo, contextual Flo, unconventional Flo, pretentious Flo, tangent, I can't pronounce this word right now for some reason. I've been talking way too long. Flow, Congressive Flow. I think this guy only came in for these streams and then I never saw him again. Trader Flows. Flow Mama. Ant Flow, Nudist Flow. Promotional Flow. He's an unimportant fourth wall breaking background NPC that shows up in every city somehow, wearing different clothes maybe, or different colored clothes. Provided by Flo, most names by Tim. Flo Mama might be the best one. Flo Mama is pretty great. He breaks the fourth wall, usually goes off topic or off theme or says something completely random. Promotional Flo just has a dialogue by, oh yeah, Flo, whenever Flo comes into my chat, he promotes my ebook. So he always does the ebook command. If the player comments on, aren't you the same guy in the last town, he could joke about it being a twin, or a cousin, or an old stalker who tried to steal his identity. One fourth wall break is suggesting that the creator of the game has put him in all of these towns and he doesn't have a choice. I don't know, man. 10 minutes ago I was at one place and then I just woke up here. I'm not in every town exactly. I'm just written that way. I say dot 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 because the person who made me is obsessed with it. Yeah, I used to do this a lot more. I do it more when we play RPGs than they do it a lot. Dot 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 dialogue talking about cursing with the curse words removed by the dots. Unconventional flow is the town poet, aka the town rapper. He writes in prose. Should be in the biggest town in the game. Include provided by dot 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 and the text boxes for the lulls. Pretentious flow just uses a lot of thesaurus inspired words. For some reason I can't pronounce this right now, so we're gonna skip that. It says something along the lines of, "Hey, I took a wrong turn. Is this not Bless Online?" Oh yeah, this was around Bless Online too. What a disaster that game was. Congressive flow sells an invisible water, but you name your price. Depending on how much you paid for it, it does nothing or everything. Nudist flow complains he can't find his clothes. Meanwhile, it's revealed somehow to the player that he's choosing to be naked. Other NPCs suggest Flo removed his own clothing and threw it in the bushes. Oh Dude is the weaponsmith of the game. This is usually Tim's character. Is the weaponsmith of the game, but it's super obvious he's hiding all the good stuff from the players because he's all about that journey experience. When the team first meets him, he's making just finished some type of super powerful legendary weapon, but still sells you low level junk and plays it off like he didn't just finish something better. Later sells you the something better and plays it off like that first interaction never happened or he has no idea what you're talking about. Oh Dude basically runs every type of merchant shop in the game, weapon master, but owns the rest. Potentially employees like Leica and Mira are the cat girls that we use for the emotes in the channel. They're characters from A Soldier's Crest. I could go on and on about them too. I have an entire short story, like 100-page ebook basically, on Mira's like origins, and obviously she's in Soldier's Crest. Leica is her daughter, and they have like a lot of issues, basically. Enemies. Make some viewers generic enemies if they want. OP bunny in every area, throwback to Final Fantasy 11, 5 to 10 levels above character. Offer rewards, no EXP gold, and or rewards that don't do anything and sell for 0. But players keep their inventory thinking it's actually going to matter. It's like, oh, keep in their inventory thinking it's actually going to matter at some point. Because we've all been there, is the item description. Mira's the best girl, yeah. Mira has become best girl for sure. Enemy description: overpowered bunnies. That rabbit's got a mean streak a mile wide. Okay, then we have the items, accessories. Narcoleptic amulet of strength plus question mark strength, but character falls asleep after a successful physical attack for a full couple enemy turns. Turn. Ring of cerebral speed. Equipped character enters berserk state upon landing a magical attack and only uses offensive magic at random. No items, attack, defend commands for a full couple enemy turns. Why'd I word it like this? That is so annoying to say. I know it's like for a full turn or a couple turns, but from a reading standpoint. Combine ring plus amulet for some type of effect if possible. Benadryl. Necklace that prevents poison. Stealth rip-off quiver. Increases money gained in battle. Ring of Britannica. Equipped character gains double XP, but gold gained is halved. Cannot be multi-stacked. Heavy shield of bromance. I got you back, homie. That's magic defense plus 10%, evasion minus 10%. Gold gloves, gauntlets of the gold digger. Gold increased by 25% after battle. Your party is unable to escape combat. Item flavor text. It's time to get paid. Benadryl is pretty great. Yeah, that was Tim. That's why the bromance thing is in there. I actually just added that. I just added that sound alert when we were starting to work on this, so it was like fresh in our heads. And thank you for the bits. I don't think that's a free one, but thank you for the bits. Kidding. Flaming Sword of Hot Fire deals additional fire damage to target when using attack command. Strength plus 5%, crit chance plus 10%. Equipped character takes burn damage after a physical attack while equipped. Item flavor text. Yo, this right here is hotter than my Unconventional Flows mixtape. Given to the party by Unconventional Flow. Cold Knife of Freezing Wind. Deal additional ice damage to target when using the attack command. Magic plus 10%, defense plus 10%. Character is paralyzed for a few turns after a magic attack when equipped. Flavor text. Hey, I can't feel my hand. I assume it's supposed to be like, hey, because we're all New Yorkers. Healing items are everyday things IRL provided by Aiden. Bubble tea. Sugary chocolate snacks, coffee. Water, Snapple. I was drinking Snapple. I used to drink so much Snapple on stream. We would do like Snapple facts and we'd like pop it. I'd wait to start streaming. We'd pop it in the mic. You know that like pop noise it makes when you open a Snapple. And we'd read the facts on stream. And then I think did I get rid of that section in Discord? I think my Discord my Discord still has the Snapple facts section. I used to just post them in the Discord. That was the thing that we used to do around this time. Snapple, deep dish pizza, moon dust, Elder Scrolls reference. Aloe vera, Snickers, cranberry juice, multi-way. What is a multi-way? I'm assuming it's supposed to be like a Milky Way, or is that like an actual thing that we don't have in New York, or I've never heard of? Cheese fingers? Oh, maybe they were just like spelling candy different. Snickers is spelled different. Multi-way, Reese's Pieces. Okay, I got it. Tainted pineapple pizza puts everyone at 1 HP or halves enemy attack for a turn or 2ish. Lipton tea, steroids. Terms, berserk, hangry, confusion, can't even. Spells, amun, amar, like an amar. This is an amaranth reference. Spell that drains gold. Immunity, I guess that was yep, it's definitely an Alinity reference. Insta kill cat type enemies. This is so messed up. Why did so many people weigh in on this? Name ideas: Gino, Sporks, Ayana, Friona, Magina, Rakshaka, Makan, Milan, Foy, Do, or Doi rather. Baska, Cascu, Illumin, Van. I don't know. There was probably meaning behind these names. What is Grund Pistol? It's in all capitals at the end. I have no. I wish I wish I saved these streams. I wonder if I have them on my external hard drive somewhere. The plot is the opening is Aiden waking up from a dream about. After waking up, Aiden is in his room. Something to do with art. Is that all we got for the plot? We spent a lot of time on everything else. Currency ideas, multiple money spelled differently per continent. This is just some ideas. If it's 4 different continents, 4 different currency. Leica Mira placement, either Easter egg cameo or owners of a shop. NPCs you run into more than once, something like that. Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the plot, as you guys could see. We were very focused on this. But yeah, that was a thing we did. I didn't expect it to be that long. I thought this was gonna be a 2-second thing, like oh ha ha ha, and then we move on. But yeah, that just took up like an hour. But yeah. So I think I'm probably gonna wrap it up there. I'm gonna go try to eat something and then just chill and go to sleep because it's almost 4 in the morning and I don't know how much later I'm gonna wait to eat something. So this is how these streams are gonna go. We're a little all over the place today because it's the first one. But yeah, we're gonna do some live readings, work on the choose your own adventure thing. I guess we'll read some old Soldier's Crest nonsense too, but that's kind of how these streams are gonna go every Tuesday. Go check out Fantasy Distractions on YouTube. And a lot of the stuff I talked about tonight will make more sense if you listen to those stories. A lot of the choose your own adventure stuff is going to tie in directly to Fantasy Distraction stories that we've done, but they'll still be designed in a way where if you haven't read those stories or listened to those stories rather, you'll still be able to follow along. Like it won't be like, oh, you needed to watch like Fantasy Distraction number 17 to fully understand this. Like not like we'll make it in a way that it makes sense no matter what. But yeah, I would appreciate subscribers. Mistral, thank you also for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Fantasy Distractions on YouTube. We're uploading some of our old content with the word scrolling on Mondays. Brand new content every Friday from now until May, at least. Hopefully longer if things go well. We're uploading the written version of them to Royal Road every Thursday, and new episodes are being uploaded. I mean, they're ones that are already on YouTube, but new episodes are being uploaded to Spotify every Wednesday. So tons of Fantasy Distraction content weekly, pretty much. And come on by when we're writing the choose your own adventure story, and we'll fill stuff in like that. Mistral, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you hanging out. And I'm gonna go find some food. I'm really hungry. And I hope you guys have a great night. And I will see you guys. I'll probably be streaming like some gaming stuff tomorrow night. I really need to get this PS5 thing situated. So tomorrow night I'm gonna try to do that as long as my body leaves me alone. And I don't know what I'll be doing for the rest of the week, but we'll figure it out. So I'll be live tomorrow, just gaming. And then we'll do another one of these next Tuesday. So I'll catch you guys then. Good luck with that. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. My body's against me. League of Legends is against me. Everybody's against me. But I'm trying my best. Have a great night, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.